Yeah, good morning. The show hasn't started yet. I just wanted to say hi before we start the show. I'll hit record once Clarice is sitting. There she is. There, look, she's so cute, you guys.
Oh, the chair is cold.
Ooh.
I did not like that.
All right, good morning, everybody. Should we start a show?
We should start a show, yes.
Should we? You want to do it? You want to do the dang thing?
I have to run and get my phone. Let's see if I can get back before the intro ends.
Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarice.
And she's going to try and get her phone before the intro ends.
3.
Oh, no, wait. I wasn't recording that. This is just for the YouTubers.
Okay.
Attempt two.
Take 2.
Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarice.
And she's going to attempt to go find her phone before the intro ends. She has 11 seconds.
Let's do it.
So close.
You did. No, I made it.
You almost did it. Can you close the door all the way?
I made it.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Nightly Morning Show, our show that is just kind of a spot where we talk about the stuff that we want to talk about in the world, and we get to hang out with y'all a little bit more, because on book club, it can be hard to catch up with chat because there's a lot going on, and we're trying to get our conversation points out.
Mm-hmm. With book club, we've got shit to do and stuff to power through, right? So this is just gonna be more like hanging out, chill. Talk a little bit about the news, some fun stuff, you know.
Yeah, we have a main topic today. We're going to be talking about Marvel versus DC. Is the rivalry back? We're going to be looking at Black Adam versus Black Panther.
Did it ever leave?
I mean, look, here's we'll get into it later.
Great.
I don't want to start there. I want to start with how was your weekend?
What did we do this weekend? It was great, guys. We raised over $700.
That's right. I'm so proud of you.
For charity, which was amazing.
If you guys missed Clarice's Saturday stream, she did a charity stream and raised over $700 for pancreatic cancer research.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. We did some crowd control Skyrim. As always, there were a few technical difficulties, and we made it through, and it was a blast.
You've done, 5 crowd control Skyrim streams now?
At least, yeah.
Do you think that you understand 50% of how to get them started yet?
50% of how to get them started.
Every time you're like, I'm doing crowd control, and I'm like, oh, is it going to work this time? And you're like, maybe.
Yeah, no, crowd control is very finicky. That was not my phone. Yeah, crowd
my
control is
favorite
finicky,
my favorite sweatpants ripped the pocket when we went and saw Black Panther, and so now my phone just falls out because the pocket's too big. I need to sew it shut.
I'm sorry.
Because the pants are too good.
The pants are too good.
Clarice likes me in gray sweatpants, so. Blue, no spoilers. No spoilers at first. We're going to do a spoiler chat at the very end of the show today, which will then get uploaded elsewhere as our spoiler chat for Black Panther. But don't worry, we're going to tell everyone when the spoilers will begin.
Yes, you will get a warning.
That won't be for an hour.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah. Marisu, thank you. Yeah, I think this might be too scandalous for Nynaeve, but...
The dress?
Yeah.
Oh, she would be having some thoughts. She would be having some thoughts.
The thoughts would be there.
But she would wear it for Lan.
She would, yeah.
Although it's not his favorite colors, so... we had a good weekend. We meant to see Black Panther again, but we didn't. And
there's too much going on.
It's because it's long. And it was when can we fit in a 2-hour and 40-minute movie? And then we ended up not watching any movies because we got tired, and the reactions that needed to get recorded did not. So
hey, we did other stuff.
This week's gonna be busy.
We got stuff done, guys. We're trying desperately to keep up with the reactions we've said we're putting out, plus also bank reactions. Nice. Plus also bank reactions for when we're gone to LA in December. Mm-hmm. So that's proving to be a good time.
Sex Monkey says every time she does crowd control, she actually knows less.
Probably, yeah. Well, because they put in new features, like the cheese thing surprised me the first time.
Dead Iron says, hey everyone, man, YouTube on the computer is terrible. It makes a way better mobile app. I disagree so wholeheartedly.
Really?
I love nothing more than the computer app version of YouTube.
I mean, I mostly used it on the computer, so I guess I'm just used to it. But
I don't like having to hold my phone.
I mean, here's the thing. The like live interface of YouTube, I think could be a little bit better.
I think that I'll make a bold statement. I think YouTube's live interface on mobile is better than Twitch's live interface on mobile.
On mobile, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
100%.
absolutely. Yeah. Blue, yes, your movie will be coming out probably the first week of December. Because we're going to record it before we go.
And Turvok.
Yes.
Yes, both of those will be like the first week of December.
Yeah.
Those are going to be while we're on vacation. Not vacation, while we're at con.
Yeah.
I keep calling it a vacation to LA.
It's not a vacation.
I'm so excited for LA though. We leave in 2 weeks. We're going to LA Comic Con. So if you're going to be at LA Comic Con, definitely come say hi.
Come say hi.
And if you're going to be at the first ever Game of Thrones con in LA the following weekend, come say hi to us.
Yeah.
Harus will hopefully have a cosplay that will hopefully arrive from Australia by then.
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yes, it should. It should arrive. No problem.
Julie Gibson, good morning from Texas. Good morning, Julie from Texas. How
Hello.
you doing? I love Texas.
We have some friends in Texas that we're dying to go visit. So,
what part of Texas are you in?
If
you're
want
comfortable
to
saying that. If you're not,
share that
please don't.
information.
I love Texas. There's so many good parts of Texas. Mm-hmm. Now would be a good time for ads. YouTube now would not be a good time for ads.
YouTube, shut up.
I spent a lot of time in Fort Worth and Dallas and Houston, and they're great cities.
Mm-hmm.
Galveston's really nice.
You haven't been to Austin?
I've never been to Austin. Okay. Yeah, I've always wanted to. I want to go to Fantastic Fest. Really bad. Oh. It's this like genre film festival where they play really weird shit. And I think like the closing night is always this like celebrity boxing match where like YouTubers like who have not trained for it.
Like me.
Yeah. Just have like a ridiculous fight for charity and stuff. Like Fantastic Fest is my like dream con now that I've been to Dragon Con.
I would love to set up a mud wrestle for charity at that. That would be so fun.
Somehow I feel like we could make so much money.
Yeah, for charity. It'd be great.
Wow.
Yes, wait, where was it? Michael, yeah, Blue has given us real dollars to react to a movie.
Predestination, right?
There were two. I think Blue said that if we hadn't seen, what was it, The Gentleman, to do that one first. I have it in a message. I have it in a message. So.
And then I think Turvok wants us to do American History X.
Yes.
Which I'm very curious about because I read the synopsis and I'm like, are we going to get canceled for reacting to this movie?
It's one of those things that might require careful editing.
Yeah.
Because things taken out of context might be...
Well, later today... Let's talk about this. We have a reaction going up later today of the first episode of Interview with the Vampire. I'm currently editing that. That'll be up at 6. And we've never had to, like, I'm like, oh, do I put a content warning at the beginning of the episode?
Yeah, maybe.
And, so right now I've kept the one from the actual show, because the show has a trigger warning on it.
Well, I was going to say...
Which I thought was smart.
The show does that for you, and if you were watching our reaction, you've probably seen the show. So it may not actually... It might be redundant.
I'm super excited for that reaction, guys. I make a noise in this video that I have never made before in my life.
Yeah, I have never heard such a noise made.
Shocking.
Yeah. I just wanted to say hello to our friend over in the Netherlands and hello to our friend in the Bahamas.
Bahamas?
Must be so nice and warm there.
We're planning a Bahamas trip.
Are we?
Yeah, we said we were going to go in like February, remember?
Oh, yeah. We were like, we're going to take an actual real vacation where we have like 5 days... No working, no phones, no social media.
I don't think it's actually going to happen, but we've talked about it.
We've talked about it.
We talked about going to Cabo, I think, in February.
Yeah, it was like Cabo or Cancun. I think were two of the ones we talked about.
But we're going to Jamaica in May, probably, so it's like...
I know.
Our lives are so hard.
Oh my god, I know. No, it's just...
Jamaica's a work trip. It's not a...
It's a work trip, yeah. We want to take an actual vacation where we don't work. Someday.
Well, and that's the funny thing, right? Because I was talking with one of my siblings, and they were like, "Oh, you guys are traveling so much; it must be so fun to like see things." And I'm like, "We go to LA, and then we're like in photo studios. Like, what's so funny is like when we're in LA getting stuff done, we're not like we're in the same sites that we are when we're in Toronto."
Yeah.
Like for us, visually, it's the exact same as here.
Yeah. And the back of the camera.
But it like. Yeah, it's funny. I was watching a Linus Tech Tips video, and Linus was talking about how he, it was the WAN show, their like Friday podcast that I love, and he was talking about how many countries he's been to. Someone asked him, and he was like, "Guys, I've been to Germany, but it was a 58-hour work trip where I saw the hotel and where I worked and then came back.
Wow, that's so sad.
And I'm like, I sometimes feel like that, especially like when I used to tour. I toured Japan with Disney as a singer, and we did 37 cities in 4 months, right? Incredible tour, remarkable, right? But there was a period in November where we did 18 cities in 17 days. Or no, 17 cities in 18 days.
What?
And so we would get on a bus, we would drive somewhere, we would have a sound check, we would do the show, we would get on a bus, go to the hotel. And so there are 17 cities in Japan that I've been to, but I saw the inside of the bus, the stage that looked like all the other stages, and the hotel room that looked like all the other hotel rooms.
Yeah.
And like I spent a lot of time in Tokyo, and there were places where I was able to like sightsee more, but that 2-week chunk where we like were literally 5-6 hours on the bus every morning, sound check show. Yeah. I'm like, I've been there.
We'll go to Japan.
Couldn't tell you a thing about it.
We'll go to Japan and we'll see it ourselves because that sounds like fun. I've always wanted to go.
I want to take you so bad. I love Japan. It's the best, you guys.
So I have some exciting news. It looks like our bedroom furniture arrived in Toronto today. So that's good.
We can stop sleeping on the floor.
So I'm assuming it's on its way to the delivery agent. So I'm assuming we'll probably get it tomorrow or Wednesday, which means next Monday we might be able to do a house tour if we wanted to. If we clean up a little bit.
Y'all down for a house tour?
You guys want to
We'll show you the new spot
where we live?
Should we talk about like some news? Should we talk about some intrigue?
Intrigue. Okay. Yes.
Chatters. If any of you guys lost money in the FTX crash, I'm so sorry.
So sorry.
This is the craziest shit in the world. How do you lose $10 billion? I mean, fraud, obviously, but like alleged fraud. Right. I think I have to say alleged.
Because they haven't been convicted
Because we
yet.
technically are a show and I could get sued.
Right. Yes.
Alleged fraud. I hope none of you guys lost money. That $10 billion, it's so much money. Yeah.
It's a like, I can't even wrap my head around the concept of $1 million. And 10 billion is what? 1,000 times that? I don't know how math works. It's a lot.
1 million?
Of 1 million, yeah. So
it would be 10,000 times that.
10,000 times that. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. Like, I cannot grasp the concept of that amount of money. Like, it's just a number to me right now because I have no relation to what that could possibly mean.
Okay, so the quick rundown. Basically, there's this guy, Sam Bankman-Fried. He starts a cryptocurrency exchange called FTX, which is like the number 2 currency exchange after Binance, which is like the big one. And the difference between like cryptocurrency and what FTX is that FTX is essentially a bank for crypto.
Yeah.
And so it is a centralized cryptocurrency exchange rather than a decentralized cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of those, right? And so allegedly, what happened was Sam Bankman-Fried and his friends also had a trading company called Alameda. And Alameda had backdoor access to the FTX exchange. And so they were sneaking into the bank, taking the money out of it, and investing that money in other opportunities. And they were doing this through loans that were propped up by the Alameda was giving FTX FTT coins as collateral. But FTT coins are FTX's currency. So they were propping up FTX with the house.
God damn.
And so when this went wrong, because of course it did.
Of course it did.
And people started to withdraw their money in massive amounts. They didn't have any money. And now it looks like everyone is going to lose $10 billion.
Yeah.
Allegedly, maybe. Can you, but like.
How much of that is Tom Brady's money?
Apparently, like, a lot.
Yeah.
Apparently, like, maybe to the tune of hundreds of millions.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's wild.
But there were YouTubers. FTX was being propped up by YouTubers, by, like, YouTube financial influencer people. Some of them were making $50K a month to, like, sell their audience on FTX.
Oh, my God.
Right?
Oh, boy.
And you're, like, wondering, like, how did this go wrong? Well, maybe it's because you spent $50 a month on YouTubers. And look, I'm a YouTuber who will take $50,000 a month from an actual company.
But we only shill for things that we use.
100%. No. Yeah, no. 1,000%. But like, what? Yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
Robbing Peter to pay Peter, says Em and Andrew.
Yeah. It looks like people are down for a house tour, so maybe that's what we'll do for next week's show. We'll let you guys know. We'll get back to you on that. But
I'll show you my underwear.
But yeah, this is wild. It's
crazy.
Like,
and the fact that like Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen put out a like television commercial about FTX like a year ago. Tom Brady's life is crazy right now. Like, yes, he just won the first ever NFL game in Germany. And, like, they're on a 2-game winning streak. They might not have the worst season of all time. But also, like, he came back to play football at 45. Wait. The best moment of the whole weekend. Even if you don't like football, go watch the play where they lined up Tom Brady as a receiver because they thought that no one would cover him.
Sports ball.
And so he runs down the field, and the running back throws the ball to him. Tom Brady slips, falls on his ass. The play gets intercepted by the defense, and then Tom Brady's like rolling around on the ground because he fell, and he accidentally trips the player who intercepted the ball. And so he slipped, fell, rolled around like a turtle trying to get back up off its shell, and then he got a penalty for it.
Jesus Christ.
I was howling. It was my favorite moment of the whole weekend. Just watching this 45-year-old man who is the greatest of all time, who is without a doubt the best quarterback to ever play the game. I'm not denying that. But watching him rolling on the ground trying to get up because he slipped and fell.
I literally was like, are you okay down there? Are you good? Like, I was like, what is happening?
But, oh my God, it looked so funny. Like, it just was... And it just was, like, so symbolic of the year that he's having. Where, like, yeah, you know what? You're still playing football. You're still one of the best quarterbacks of all time. But also your wife left you and you can't stand up.
And
your cryptocurrency exchange, yeah.
Millions of dollars. Well, that sucks. Sucks to be him, I guess.
Oh, my God. I just love that he got a penalty. It brought me so much joy.
Yeah, that was great.
And he won the game. And at the end of the game, he was like, this was one of the greatest football experiences of my life. And I was like, well, it was one of the funniest for me.
You're like, same, buddy.
Although, if you want a real cool moment, go to the very end of that broadcast, to the end of the game, and the German fans start singing Country Roads.
Why?
Like, I don't know.
Is that what they think the American national anthem is?
Maybe. But it's like 70,000 people singing Country Roads.
Country Roads.
And even the broadcasters in the booth.
Me home.
Literally. The broadcasters in the booth are like, what is happening?
Yeah, why Country Roads? Like, did they start a Facebook group where they're like, all right, anyone who's going to be at this game,
plan.
This is the plan.
Maybe
it's not going to make any sense.
Maybe, like, the stadium started to play it, and then they, like, because they play songs between, like, plays.
Amazing.
They play, like, little clips of songs. And so maybe everyone just knows Country Roads.
I guess. West Virginia.
But it sounds cool. Listening to 70,000 people sing Country Roads is actually a really cool experience.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's valid. That's so weird. I need to know why that song. I'm gonna look into it.
No idea, but it was great. Should we go to our main topic?
Shall we? Yes. No spoilers?
No spoilers. No. But we're not going to get into Black Panther itself yet.
Okay.
The main topic of the show, what we're here to talk about, y'all, Marvel versus DC, is it back? Because we're in this new era, right? Phase 4 has come to an end. Phase 4, maybe not the best reviewed. Phase 4 reviewed kind of like the DCEU has been for the last few years.
Yeah.
Granted, still much more financially successful, I would say, than the DCEU has been.
Yep.
But, you know, Phase 4 is kind of in a place where a lot of people are saying it is weaker than the previous Marvel phases were. Yeah. And I think that there is some validity to that. I think that without a very clear forward goal for all of these films to coalesce towards, Thanos gave us a really clear goal from the first Avengers movie till the end of Endgame. And I feel like without that, like, clear goal, Marvel is not in as strong a position.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're in a very strong position because they have Disney money and they're fine.
Yeah.
But they're not in as strong a position as they've been. On the flip side, DC just had Black Adam come out. We're going to talk about how it did. But James Gunn and the other guy are now running DC Films, which is now DC Studios.
Yeah.
And there could be an argument made that James Gunn has made the best DC projects.
I would, yeah.
Two
yes.
of, not the only best, but like
The only best.
The Suicide Squad and Peacemaker are in the like arena at the top of what DC has made. Right?
Absolutely.
I think that there is a conversation that we could have more comparative quality between the two products moving forward, as opposed to Marvel's been very consistently B+, and DC has been all over the map.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my question to you is the Marvel versus DC rivalry that only exists among the fans and does not exist among the companies, other than DC wanting Marvel money, is it back? Does James Gunn bring it back? And the fall of, Phase 4 a little bit.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it never really went away. Like, if you are in the YouTube comment section at all, people who are fans of DC will use the fact that you like Marvel movies as an insult. You're like, okay, sure. I don't know. I feel like I feel like Phase 4 has been like, how do you describe it? Not like crazy like highs, but not like crazy lows either. Like, it's just kind of rid the middle ground. Like, I think that a lot of people are like, oh yeah, it's good, right?
See, the Rotten Tomato scores say otherwise.
Oh.
Phase 4...
We trust Rotten Tomatoes.
Phase 4 has only had 2 certified fresh movies for Marvel. And has had the 2 lowest rated Marvel films in Eternals and Thor: Love and Thunder.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and so while... I hear what you're saying. Like, it seems like it's been more mid, but the scores, the actual reviews of these movies have been more all over the place than previous phases that have been kind of consistently good.
Yeah.
And of the Marvel films put out in 2022, which is Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, Thor: Love and Thunder, and Black Panther, only Black Panther is certified fresh.
Huh.
Yeah. And so from a critic standpoint, Phase 4 is the most inconsistently reviewed, despite still having very high highs. I still think between Shang-Chi, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Black Panther 2, you have 3 of the better Marvel movies, in my opinion.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But the general audience consensus is lower on Phase 4 than other phases. Obviously, I enjoy these movies a lot more than I think the general consensus.
Yeah.
My expectations for a Marvel movie, I just want to have fun.
Yeah.
Even like Thor: Love and Thunder, which I don't think is an amazing film.
No, but we had fun.
It was fun.
We enjoyed it.
It was an easy... I think it's an easier watch than Black Panther 2, even though Black Panther 2 is an infinitely better film. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Interesting. No, you don't get to just that. Expand on that. You think that they're like comparable?
I think no spoilers. I don't think as like a cohesive film, the Black Panther 2 is actually that good.
Wow.
Yeah.
You and I are usually pretty on the same page.
Yeah. See, I've been thinking about it all weekend. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to go back and see it. Not only because it's hard to watch, but because also I was like, I think I'm going to like not like it even more on a rewatch. Like...
Wild.
Yeah, I know. And look, Thor: Love and Thunder was like kind of dumb in a lot of moments, but there were also things that I really liked. So I wouldn't actually say that I would put Black Panther 2 head and shoulders above Thor: Love and Thunder. I would say that they're kind of like similar. Sorry.
That is not the opinion I expected on a Monday morning.
Yeah, sorry.
I feel like we should change the title of this whole video and restart. Wow.
Yeah. We'll talk about it in the spoiler chat later. Yeah.
I don't know how to come back from that one. I think like visually and from like an emotional standpoint, you have to agree Black Panther wins those, right?
Yes, but only
Thor had
because
some bad visuals.
But only like
Although so does
because
Black Panther
of
too.
Chadwick Boseman. Right? Like because he's like a real person. Thor: Love and Thunder, I actually thought had a really interesting sentiment to the story, to like the core of the story.
No, I agree with that.
So yeah, some of the visuals are a little like wonky, but there are some like kind of nonsensical things and choices in Black Panther 2 that I'm like, why? Okay, but why though? Why? Like
that's fair. It's hard to get. We'll get into that more at the end of the video when we talk spoilers.
Yeah.
But I think I can see where you're coming from. I still hold it's an 85 for me. You know what I mean? Like, Black Panther 2 doesn't get into the 90s like some other Marvel movies do.
Yeah.
But wow. The internet will fight you on that. The internet hates Thor Love and Thunder with a passion that I don't understand.
Which I don't get it, but like it's one of those things where I'm like, I know people are gonna be upset about it, but like when you actually look at the story of it and the writing, things fall apart and don't make sense. The Chadwick Boseman of it all was so, I think, well done and the best parts of the movie. But yeah, it's hard to watch more than once because it is like devastating what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, no, wow. I don't disagree with you. I think Soups, the much maligned internet figure, put out a review where he basically was like, look, like it didn't sit right with me that they had Chadwick Boseman's death be, maybe I'm paraphrasing what he said, but it felt like he was saying that Chadwick Boseman's death and T'Challa's death, that kind of gets into spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay,
we'll
let's end there. We'll end there.
Yeah,
even though spoilers for like the opening second.
Yeah, it's still, let people experience the movie. But
I'm going to say this up front. This is not a spoiler. If you go see Black Panther 2, if you haven't seen it yet, and we said this in our non-spoiler review, be quiet right before you think the movie's about to start, because it starts with dialogue in blackness very suddenly.
Yeah. The theater had to be like, oh, it started.
Our whole movie theater was like, what is happening? And then it was like, oh, the movie started.
Yeah.
It needs a splash screen of some kind to let you know that the movie's beginning, because I fully don't know what the opening dialogue was.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Okay, but the reason we want to talk about Marvel versus DC is because Black Panther 2 opened to about $330 million worldwide. Right?
Sorry, how much?
$330 million worldwide right now. That'll be adjusted once like official numbers come in.
Right, okay.
Black Adam currently sits at $352 million worldwide.
Total.
Yes. And they have the same budget of $200 million. So if you're James Gunn and you just took over DC Films, how are you feeling about those numbers?
Oof. Okay. Well, okay. We have a spoiler review out for Black Adam.
Yes, we do.
Also a movie with a lot of issues in it.
Yes.
Like, I don't think it's that good. I think, honestly, James Gunn just needs to, like, take over, put his own spin on things, and just put new life into the DC universe. Because, man, that says something.
It's crazy, right? Black Adam's a flop.
Yeah.
And not even, like, kind of a flop. But, like, Black Adam is going to lose $200 million.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I like, conservatively, it'll lose $100 million.
Yeah.
And that's like giving it the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
That they didn't spend too much on marketing, which they did. That they didn't spend too much, you know what I mean? But like Black Adam is going to lose at least $100 million. Because if you think about it, right? In order for Black Adam to... Well, there's actually one caveat here. We should mention Black Adam is maybe going to release in China.
Right.
Maybe. Do you know the update on that, though?
No.
Black Adam is supposed to release in China, right? They get the Chinese release.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that in a video interview that Pierce Brosnan was wearing a necklace that was given to him by... Oh my God. What's... Oh, crap. Who's the guy who reincarnates into himself? The Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama gave Pierce Brosnan a necklace that he wore in a video interview. And because the Chinese government views the Dalai Lama as a like persona non grata, the Black Adam may not get a Chinese release because of that video.
God.
Which kind of sinks Black Adam completely.
You want to know what a fucking snowflake is? China. China is a fucking snowflake. Jesus Christ. Really? A necklace?
Yeah. Why didn't... Oh. Yeah, no, it's wild, right?
Wow. Talk about being sensitive. Jesus Christ. That is ridiculous.
So, yeah, there's this interesting beat where, like, James Gunn has taken over in the middle of arguably the biggest flop DC's had in a while. Oh, no, God, no. What am I saying? The Suicide Squad was worse. The movie he directed did worse.
Which sucks because it's a much better movie.
Now, James Gunn will not start a DC project until now, right? He just took over.
Yeah.
So the films that will come out next year
are
not James Gunn films.
Yeah.
We get Aquaman 2, which I think will do very well. Unless the Amber Heard of it all gets more weird.
Yeah,
but I think it'll be mostly forgotten by then, and she's only probably in like 10 minutes of the movie, apparently.
Yeah, they reduced her role quite a bit.
The Flash, which stars Ezra Miller. Who knows how that's going
to see that? Like, Jesus Christ.
Maybe. And then there's one other. The Joker 2 Folie à Deux, which.
Oh, I haven't seen the first one.
Which is crazy, right? Because the Joker really pissed off a lot of people. You have a lot of people who don't like it because of the sensitivities of it. And then you have a lot of people who love the Joker who are really upset that it's going to be a musical sequel starring Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
And then you have the people who hate the first one who probably would like a musical starring Lady Gaga who are not going to see the second one because they hate the first one. I don't know if Joker 2 makes money.
Yeah, because the first one did crazy numbers.
Over $1 billion. I think it's a brilliant movie that got complicated because of the real world situation that like spawned around it, and is less about the actual quality of the filmmaking. Is it a total ripoff of The King of New York? Yes. Is there very much original about it? No, arguably. Mm-hmm. I still think it's very well acted, very well shot. It's a really well done ripoff.
Sure, yeah.
It stars one of the stars of King of New York.
Maybe they're thinking that, like, if we make this the most outrageous, wild thing possible, people will have to go see it to understand the memes that come out of it.
I would love that. I want the movie to be good. Don't get me wrong. But I think that, like, there won't be a James Gunn-led movie until 2024. Mm-hmm. DC's 2023 looks bizarre, right?
Yeah, well, there's also Shazam 2.
Oh, that looks great.
Scott brought up in the chat.
Yeah, Helen Mirren, like, what?
Just some of my content has been leaked. Fofox just sent me a link.
Cool.
I love that for me.
Blue says the Flash will be determined by when Miller's trial is.
Well,
that's. Can you imagine?
Is he getting?
Why did James Gunn take this over?
I thought he I thought they apologized.
Yeah, but you can't apologize away a felony.
Oh, I thought I thought Warner Brothers was taking care of it.
Oh no! They have to go on trial for the felony.
For the
felony.
The break-in.
Yeah, where they stole the alcohol.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's very expensive alcohol. I don't understand them. I don't understand this whole situation. I don't know why this.
Yeah. I don't know why James Gunn took this over. I don't know why and this is probably why it took so long for them to find someone. I don't know why anyone would want to be the head of DC Films next year.
Oh god,
you have to navigate.
You could not pay me enough money.
You have two easy movies, right? Yeah. I think Aquaman and I think publishing Aquaman and publishing Shazam 2, walk in the park.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody dislikes Shazam. People think it's mid, or people think it's for kids or whatever, right?
Sure, whatever.
But I think it's hard to dislike it.
Yeah.
Although apparently Dwayne Johnson doesn't like it, which I think is very funny.
Shazam?
Yeah, he does not want Black Adam and Shazam to meet up, even though they are the same character. But
how? Okay.
Shazam 2 is super safe. It's kid friendly. It's Zachary Levi, Helen Mirren. The cast is stacked.
Yeah.
Adrian Brody's in it. You know what I mean? You have the cast of it's basically what if CW, but with budget and good acting. And then you have Aquaman 2, which Aquaman 1 made over $1 billion.
Yeah. Jason
Momoa's most controversial thing in the world is that he briefly separated from his wife and then they worked it out because they're adults.
Yeah.
And Amber Heard is cut down in the movie because...
yeah.
So the Amber Heard is the only kind of questionable thing there. But then the other two movies, they're hard to market.
Yeah.
And the problem with all four of those movies are any of those stars going to be your stars in 2024? Are you going to spend $300 to $500 million next year marketing movies with stars who are not going to be your franchisees?
Well, Aquaman...
Are they going to keep Jason Momoa?
I don't know. I don't know. I think they have to... I think because Black Adam only got one movie, they kind of have to keep Black Adam around.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the Flash, the whole Flash of it all is just so weird.
Michael Kiosi says, what about the Batman, man? The Batman there's not going to be a Batman movie next year. So James Gunn doesn't, like, there might be a Batman 2 in 2025.
Would probably be the earliest possible?
But like, there's not going to be a Batman 2 next year. They would have to have already shot it, right?
Yeah.
Momoa money, Momoa problems. I think the Batman was a good movie. I think that it did okay. I think a Batman movie not making $1 billion is a worrying sign.
Yeah.
I think a Batman movie making $400 million less than the Joker is a concerning sign for that franchise.
Yeah.
I've watched the Batman, I think 3.5 times now. I don't particularly love it.
Yeah.
Mostly because I don't think the Batman is very good at being the Batman in it.
Yeah.
Which makes it a little rough in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think the cinematography is incredible. I think the score is
it's beautiful.
Very consistent.
Yeah.
It's just the Nirvana song and then the Nirvana song slowed down.
Oh, Blue Beetle. That's the other one. Is that coming out next year though, or is that coming out in 2024?
Is that coming out?
I don't know. I haven't heard
so.
Damn thing about it.
The suit looks fucking rad.
Oh yeah. Hang on.
I'm not gonna lie.
Beetle.
I think that you could market the entire DCEU around Jaime Reyes, the Blue Beetle. Okay. I think
Oh, it is scheduled right now for August 18th, 2023.
Wow.
So we'll see if that holds.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
See, Blue Beetle is a character you can build around. First of all, he's new. He's not tied to the old DCEU. And he is a character who is young, energetic, is figuring it out. I've been, if you've watched our show for any amount of time, you know what I've been saying. Static Shock is the Spider-Man of the DC universe, and you should build the entire DC universe around Static Shock. Mm-hmm. He is diverse in the way that Hollywood loves. He is one of the best characters to come out of the Milestone era. You can have Icon, who would be an incredible Superman if you want to take a break on Superman. Obviously, now they don't want to take a break on Superman because Henry Cavill's back. Yeah. But if Henry Cavill hadn't returned and they didn't want to just throw a new Superman out, Icon would have been a great freaking character for that. Mm-hmm. Static Shock is the character that I've been saying they should build the DCEU around. The young character that kids can feel like they get invested in this universe through. I also think Jaime Reyes as Blue Beetle can do that same thing. Yeah. And you can kind of do what they did with Scott Lang Ant-Man. Yeah. Where they got the cast of older actors who are now playing the original Hope and the original Hank Pym to bring in the older audience who are, get someone really famous to play Ted Kord. Right? Get a really famous person to play the former Blue Beetle. Yeah. I know in the comics he's usually dead when Jaime Reyes gets the scarab and whatever, but I think that you can tell a story where you get someone like what Pierce Brosnan was as Dr. Fate to the Black Adam movie. Yeah. Where you can kind of bring your audiences together through these two actors and have Jaime Reyes bring the younger audience into the films. Yeah. And into the DCU. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of potential for Blue Beetle to be an incredible stepping stone to the future of the DCEU. Yeah. You need something fresh. Yeah. Because it feels stale right now. Scout About, I just want to be clear, we both loved Robert Pattinson. As an actor in the Batman, we mean that the character itself was a bad detective, and not very good at convincing people that he was fun, socialite Bruce Wayne. I'm not even talking about if you're gonna do the story where he's not the socialite yet, that's fine. Sure. My problems with the Batman are that it would have been fun if he was 23 and figuring it out. Yes. But he's 29. Yeah, he's a fully fledged adult, and he's you're not my dad. You're well, the "you're not my dad" moment is rough. Yeah. But also the I get that Robert Pattinson is too old to play 23, maybe. Sure. But you have to answer he's been what was he doing for 20 years? It's something when he's he went to school and then now he's Batman. But when he's because in the comics, he becomes Batman at 25. Mm-hmm. And even that feels a little bit late unless he's traveling around the world learning from people. Yeah. But this Batman didn't travel around the world learning from people. He just lived in a cave for 20 years. And he's a terrible detective. Everybody else in the movie has to teach him how to do detective work.
Yeah.
And by the time the guy at the end is like, oh yeah, that's a carpet tool, I was like, does Batman know anything? Is there any part of this case he doesn't know Spanish? He doesn't know carpet tools? Like, he's just, my Batman is the guy who figures it out because he's a brilliant intellect and he's a detective. And this guy was like conveniently there when somebody else could point out how dumb he was.
Yeah. It just got a bit tiresome, especially from like our hero, right?
He figured out thumb drive, and I was like, okay, so he gets memes. But
he's a memer.
When the freaking Penguin is laughing at Batman because the Batman's doesn't understand Spanish, I was like,
yeah,
what is this?
Yeah. It was,
what are we doing?
It was a little bit rough. I think that what the DC universe needs is fresh blood. I think that James Gunn is the right person for that because all the things that he's done have felt fresh and invigorating and
100%,
taken risks that have paid off, including over at Marvel, right, with Guardians. I think he's the right person for the job. I think he has a tough time ahead of him, especially with all the controversies and stuff. I have hope for the DC universe because I'm sick and tired of going into a DC movie and being like, I want them to be good. I want to enjoy them. I want to rave about them. And, apart from Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, it's been rough.
It's been weird. Yeah. And like, look, I enjoyed Black Adam. I don't think it's a very good movie.
It's fine.
But
it's fine.
I really, I enjoyed it, right? I had fun in that movie. I think Dwayne Johnson brought it in a way that he doesn't necessarily always bring it as an actor. I think that, it's still not as good as his best movie. His best performance ever is in a movie called Snitch, in which he plays a truck driver trying to, like, save his son. Best Dwayne Johnson has ever been in a film. It's wild. He is such a good actor in that movie, and I think it's because it was early on in his career, and he hadn't built the, like, persona yet. And so there's a lot of ego in Dwayne Johnson's screen performances. Yeah. Especially in Fast and the Furious, where there's literally ego that causes the script to be written around their massive egos. But I think that, like, Dwayne Johnson brought it in a new way. I thought Pierce Brosnan was incredible. I think Aldous Hodge could literally lead the Justice League. Like, if you need a Justice League leader for, like, his Hawkman's great, right?
Yeah.
There's really good stuff in Black Adam. It's just going to lose them over $100 million. And, do they make a Black Adam 2? I don't know why you would.
Don't know. Yeah.
I think you make a Black Adam versus Superman. I think you make, like...
Or Shazam crossover if The Rock is willing, I guess.
But, like, really look at DC this year and last year. None of their movies have made money. The Batman did a little bit, but it only made $700 and something million. Yeah. They're currently pumping all of the money they made off that into HBO Max shows that I don't know how you make money on HBO Max, so I don't really know, like, what the logistics of that are.
Yeah, I don't know. That's beyond my pay grade.
Blue says Faster is better than Snitch. I've never seen Faster.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
The Tooth Fairy. The Tooth Fairy is not his best performance, but it is. If you get high and watch The Tooth Fairy, you're in for a good time.
I also have not seen that one. Yeah. I think that DC needs to lean more into the, like, James Gunn style and like their animated shows.
They're animated shows.
Yeah, well, like Harley Quinn is great.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's great. Everybody loves it. I haven't talked to a single person who's like, yeah, no, not for me. Right? Like,
Except maybe like a child.
Sure. Okay, yes. That's fair.
Batman fucks bats.
Yeah, the DC universe is definitely not all ages friendly.
Oh, God, no. Doom Patrol? You see Brendan Fraser's ass like 5 seconds into the first episode.
Oh, can we watch it?
Yeah, it's great. Doom Patrol, incredible show. A lot of the DC Universe stuff was pretty good. I think Titans is maybe not. I enjoyed Swamp Thing for the episodes before they ran out of money and it got canceled because they went horribly over budget. It's rough out there. I love the DC Universe so much. I also love that it's on the DCU, and I was like, at least when it was the DCEU, it was different from Marvel. But now that they've officially made it the DCU, it's literally just the same thing.
DCU and the MCU.
I love these characters so much. I have a shrine of my... there's literally like a shrine of DC
There's an
characters.
Aquaman shrine
There's
downstairs.
an Aquaman shrine in our house.
Yeah.
It's not like a shrine. It's just all of my Aquaman Funko Pops on one thing.
What else would a shrine be?
I don't have like a lock of Jason Momoa's hair.
You
know what I mean? Like, it's not like that weird.
That's fine.
It could be weirder.
I'm sure I could find that on eBay for you.
Please don't. I like, see, and that's the thing.
You're like, no,
it's not a shrine because it's not weird. It's just Funko Pops. I love these characters. I just like, fuck. If I guess the final point I want to make is like, James Gunn, good luck, because this universe is a mess. And I do not know how you market the Flash.
I think they're going to struggle next year. I think they're going to have a rough go of it. And they're going to get that stuff all done and out of the way. Mm-hmm. Like, they're going to do it and get it done with. And I think they're going to realize that they're going to have to take the L next year and come back 2024, 2025 as a strong contender.
And honestly, if I was James Gunn, while you're taking that L, be like, this is not my L. Be very public about the fact that you're like, I did not make any decisions on any of these movies.
Yeah.
Because... if I do not take responsibility for the Ezra Miller situation, because you can't trust that that's not going to get worse.
No, God, yeah. What?
Apparently that movie's amazing.
Really?
Yeah, apparently it's so good that they can't imagine doing anything bad about it. But apparently it's just so good. It's the only DC movie that's like testing through the roof every test screening. Like, apparently it is just so good.
How do we get into a test screening?
I would never go to one.
Oh, okay.
Because of what we do, I would never want to go to a test screening.
Right, it'd be weird. It'd be like, guys, we saw The Flash. Can't tell you about it, but we saw it.
And we can't even say that we saw it.
Oh.
We wouldn't be able to say that we saw it.
So maybe we did see it and you just don't know it.
And then we could never talk about the movie publicly.
Gotcha, okay.
Like, at all. We can never mention, like, we would have to sign the level of NDA that you have to sign for one of those. Like, we just would not be able to do our jobs.
That's fair.
Also, like, I like watching movies when they're done. Mm-hmm. If I was working on it, I would like to be in the test screening. But, like, to sit there and then, like, I like giving my review to the internet, right? I like being like, these are my thoughts. I hope the people who make the movie never watch my thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to, like, ruin someone's dream. I really don't want anyone who, like, worked on the Halo show to go watch my Halo reviews. Because I hated what they did.
Yeah.
I still admire them for putting in the work, right? Like, they still put their art out into the world. That is a really hard thing to do. Yeah. And, like, I'm not shitting on them as people. And
no, yeah, no.
I don't really want to go to a test screening because I don't want to be in a position where I'm, like, writing down, hey, this is bad, and then handing it to someone about their art. Like, that's just not the kind of... I'm not interested in that.
That's fair. I'm
totally interested in creating review content from the perspective of, I want to love this, and here's maybe why I did and maybe why I didn't.
Yeah.
And I hope that the people who actually made it never watch that stuff.
Yeah.
It is for people who are considering to go watch it or just want to chat about it afterwards. I wouldn't mind if, like, Tony Gilroy watched my Andor reviews, because I'm sitting there going, wow, this show's amazing. Good job.
Yeah.
Here are your flowers. But, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I hope that in like 2025, James Gunn is like, all right, full reboot. Mm-hmm. We're recasting everybody.
But they just announced Henry Cavill's back. They literally can't do that.
I know.
You know what I mean? And like,
or maybe he dies. I don't know. And then they're like, all right, we're going back. We're starting from scratch. We're gonna do Batman v Superman again, different, all totally different. Like, they just like redo what they did, but like
it's better. Henry Cavill versus Robert Pattinson, and Henry Cavill just destroys Robert Pattinson.
Oh my god! Well, he's bad Batman, yeah.
No, he's a Batman in a different universe, right? Like,
I guess, yeah.
I don't know how his Batman could ever fight a Superman.
Monkey's like, I like when y'all watch things I don't want to, so I can at least keep up with everything. That's fair.
That's our job.
We're doing it for you. We're doing the Lord's work.
Things you should be watching: Chainsaw Man. It's very good.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
Yeah.
It's a good show. If you like gay shit, Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol's very gay.
Love it. Love it.
It's very, very, very queer.
Interview with a Vampire, also very gay. Very gay. I like it.
You can watch us react to an interracial threesome later today when our Interview with a Vampire video goes live.
6 o'clock? 5
that
o'clock?
show's wild.
Yeah. That's going up later today, so make sure you're sticking around for it, because
we just spent a long time talking about DC. Mm-hmm. Should we get into the Marvel of it all? Next year, coming out for Marvel. Uh-huh. We talk about next year for DC a lot.
Yeah.
Should we talk about Marvel?
Yeah, we've got Ant-Man 3.
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which looks kind of sick.
Honestly, yeah.
Like, it looks great.
You know what I've had in my head for the last, 3 days?
Oh,
It's just, going over and over and over in my head from the trailer, and I'm like, clever. I see what you did there.
I really should have pulled up the list. I didn't think we were going to go into next year as heavily as we are, but I like this conversation. I'm having fun with it.
Yeah.
So next year we're getting Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which looks great. We are getting... What else are we getting?
You know what? We're going to Google it. Marvel 2023.
I can't even think of anything. We're getting the Ironheart show, which I'm excited for, despite the fact that...
the Marvels.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I really liked Miss Marvel.
I really hope the Marvels is good.
Character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Marvels makes me a little bit worried, just because I don't really see how those three characters come together.
Mm-hmm. Kraven the Hunter? What's that?
That is a Sony... Oh my god, is that next year? Aaron Taylor Johnson will be playing Kraven the Hunter in Sony's Kraven the Hunter, a movie about that guy that hunted Spider-Man a couple times, who's now a hero.
Great.
For some reason.
Yeah, we've got Guardians 3.
Oh, yeah, well, that'll be it.
Across the Spider-Verse.
The craziest thing is that next year, the biggest hit James Gunn has might be a Marvel movie, even as he's the head of DC Studios.
I know, it's going to be great.
I think Aquaman will probably outperform Guardians 3 financially. But
okay.
I mean, like, none of the Guardians movies, I think, have passed what Aquaman 1 made.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. James Gunn is literally going to have to market, hey, this is my Amazing Guardians movie that I made. So Ezra Miller is still the Flash. They only committed like 9 crimes last year. It's fine.
Fine. Only like 9.
How do you go into those interviews? Hi, I would love to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes, I am the head of DC Studios. Please don't ask me about Ezra Miller.
Yeah. Please do not ask me about them.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I do not want to speak about it.
I wouldn't be surprised if those reporters are told not to bring it up.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, look, you can be here, but you can't talk about it. Yeah, so Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Across the Spider-Verse, which is going to be fun.
Banger.
Yeah.
Banger.
The Marvels, confirmed after releasing 2023. Oh.
What?
Okay, well, getting into 2024, apparently Marvel's confirmed Madame Web.
No, that's Sony again. That's not Marvel.
Oh, okay.
That's the same as Kraven the Hunter.
Okay, gotcha.
Madame Web, guys, I'm not saying go look at the leaked photos. Madame Web looks like it's going to be truly insane.
Great.
I saw a photo from Madame Web that blew my mind in not maybe in a good way. Because, like, I don't know how you make a Madame Web. I don't know how you make a Madame Web movie. I don't really get it. But the photo that I saw looks bonkers. Although apparently the plot of Madame Web is that a bunch of spider women are going to have to team up to stop someone from killing Peter Parker while he's in Mary Parker's womb. Someone's going to like try and kill Peter Parker while he's a fetus. In the past. And spider women are going to have to team up to stop it. Apparently that's the plot. Spider women! Yeah.
Okay.
But Sydney Sweeney's in it, so it's going to make a lot of money.
Cool. All right. Sure.
Yeah. Ah, God.
Next year's going to be weird.
Next year's going to be very weird.
Yeah.
It's going to be strange.
Yeah. Not Doctor Strange. We don't get a Doctor Strange movie next year, but it's going to be
I'm sure he'll pop up in, like, all of them, though.
Mm-hmm. Huh. All right. Yeah. I don't know. I think that DC and Marvel are both kind of struggling under the weight of themselves at the moment. I think they need to. I think they need to do some self-reflection.
Schizophrenic says, "How do you not bring up? So one of your stars is hanging out in a cult compound with underage girls. What's up with that?"
Yep.
James Gunn, man.
Remember when we were the only people talking about Ezra Miller? Literally, like there was all.
It was us. No, it was us and Roxy Stryer from Only Stupid Answers.
Yeah, that was it. When we were doing our morning show,
the original,
the original morning show, there was all the stuff about the Flash, and every time we'd be like, okay, but also like they've done some pretty like sus and like bad things. Obviously, not as many things at this point. Like we were like, remember when Ezra Miller choked out their fan, like their underage fan? That's kind of weird. Nobody's talking about it. Super strange, I guess.
Do you remember?
And then all this shit happened.
Do you remember Fandom when our fandom coverage, we were like, are people going, is DC going to acknowledge the Ezra Miller of it all at fandom? They didn't. Ezra Miller was just there smiling, being like, I'm so excited to be the Flash. And I was like, okay, we're just not bringing up that they choked a girl to the ground.
Yeah.
And what's so funny is that we would get comments on those videos back in the day where people would be like, oh my God, the choking thing's over. Stop talking about it. Ezra Miller, it was a one-time thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but they never apologized. It doesn't seem like they've ever taken accountability for it.
Yeah.
And now here we are a few years later. They never took accountability, and now they think they're a god.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
Michael Kioski says, I just want a Deadpool cameo in every movie, DC and Marvel.
That would be amazing.
I would love if Deadpool showed up in The Flash to be like, didn't you do all this shit? Like, the Deadpool just shows up and calls
I have
out
a list
Ezra
of your
Miller,
crimes.
and then he, like, snaps his finger, and Ezra Miller's replaced by another actor.
Could you imagine?
Well, because that's what people say is going to happen. People say that at the end of The Flash will not be, like, through the shenanigans of the movie of what the Flash's powers are, the Flash will have a different face at the end of the movie, and it'll be a different actor.
There's different Flashes, right? He could just die, and there could be a new Flash.
Barry Allen? No, I think it's still going to be Barry Allen. It's going to be a different actor playing Barry Allen.
But there are other Flashes, right? Like,
there's many Flashes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So-
But there's only really like two main Flashes. They could kill Barry and go to Wally West.
okay.
That's definitely an option. Wally West was the Flash for most of my life because Barry Allen died saving the universe and was dead for like 16 years or something like that in comics. Barry Allen was one of the few characters to remain dead for like more than a decade in comics.
Mm-hmm.
Before Jeff Johns brought him back in Flash Rebirth. But yeah, our audience is going to want to watch a whole movie about Ezra Miller knowing that they're not going to be in the movies past that point. I don't know. I don't know. I do think Marvel will do well financially next year. I think Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania will make money.
Oh, yeah.
I think Guardians 3 will make money.
Gonna make money. No problem. Like, they're fine.
Yeah,
Like,
I think the concern for them right now is right now Disney's losing a lot of money on Disney Plus. It's just not really financially a viable strategy.
okay.
And so I think the big question for Disney is going to be how to stop hemorrhaging money on streaming.
Stop making so many Marvel shows. Like, you don't have to. You can
They do. They have to have content up there, else people won't subscribe.
They can have content up there, but they don't need to be making huge projects like on a Marvel scale. Like, and there's already so much that you expect people to keep up with because you've intertwined all of it. Just make some indie stuff, hire some...
Are people going to sign up for indie stuff, though?
If you, look, if it's on Disney Plus and people find out about it, like, for example, like Stranger Things, season 1 budget wasn't crazy, right? But it was a hit.
Sure, but you can't be like, just create another Stranger Things.
No, but I'm saying...
If companies could create another Stranger Things, they would.
I know. I'm just saying that, like, everything on Disney Plus right now is serialized into either like the Star Wars or the Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need something new and you need something fresh. And I think that they're thinking like you are, and they're too nervous to like try and pull the trigger on anything that like might flop, that no one might ever hear about. Like, they're just sticking to like their tried and true racehorses, and those are not always going to win the race,
Schizophrenic says the big question for Disney is, when is Bob Chapek shown the door? I can't imagine he is.
Who's that?
Bob Chapek is the person who replaced Bob Iger as CEO last year.
Oh.
When we were still doing the morning show, actually, we talked about that.
Right.
Now we're doing it again. But when the last time we were still doing the morning show, I don't know that they will give him the door. I think that Bob Chapek will have at least another year to see how his decisions are faring for the company. I think that they're in a really weird, tumultuous time with like what's going on with Florida and all the lawsuits around like what's going on with the state of their tax situation in Florida and their fight with Ron DeSantis over gay people. Go gay people. We're team gay here. I don't know if you know that.
Team gay.
And I don't know. I think he gets a minute, right? I don't think that you just... I think that Disney is smart enough to not do what Warner Brothers is doing, which is, oh my God, it didn't fix all of our problems immediately. Get that person out.
Next,
Let's just keep cycling CEOs until the problem goes away.
That's not how this works.
That's not realistic.
Especially when you have things that are years in the making and planning, right? Like Disney has a 10-year plan. Disney has a 20-year plan. You know what I mean? Like... They think ahead.
Michael Kioski says, I will cancel my Disney Plus when Willow is over, but then the Bad Batch starts. How are you going to cancel your Disney Plus when the Bad Batch is coming out every week?
But I think Willow is honestly is a good play for Disney Plus. You know, there's not a huge budget for it. You've got a
Did you watch the same trailer I did?
Yeah.
That shit looks expensive.
I mean, it looks great, but it's not a huge epic, right? With like lots of extras.
I don't know. That shit looks that
maybe it is expensive.
That one shot of that CGI fish creature coming out of the water looks like they like jizzed money all over the screen. I'm not joking. Like Willow does not look cheap.
No, I'm not saying it looks cheap. I'm just saying that like it seems like it's on a smaller scale than like the other Marvel stuff. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the budget is crazy high. Like, you know, I'm willing to be wrong on that. But like shows that are not attached to these huge sprawling, not IPA. That's a beer. IPs. There we go. Things that are not attached to that, where people don't feel like they need to keep up with every single piece. You know, there's one movie for Willow, and that's it.
Yeah, but it's a movie by Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's what's weird.
Yeah, but it's not Star Wars. Like.
Yeah, but it's attached to Lucasfilm. It's attached to Star Wars. It's attached to Indiana Jones by virtue of the name recognition of Lucasfilm.
The name recognition, totally. But people don't feel like they need to go watch every Star Wars movie to go watch Willow.
Oh, 100%.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, they're not connected in that sense.
I think we can't talk about Willow in this sense until we see how it performs.
That's totally fair.
I don't know that anyone's going to watch it. I will. I'm super excited. I love the movie Willow. I own a VHS copy of Willow. We recently rewatched it. I still think it's great. It's not a great movie. But it's so fun. The acting is great. I'm so nostalgic for it.
Yeah. I'm
hopeful that Willow has a better plot. I do wish the show had a subtitle, because the fact that they're both just called Willow kind of bugs me. I'm one of those people who complains about like Willow Reawakened. You know what I mean? But this is one of those situations where they're both just called Willow.
Yeah.
But the Willow show looks expensive. I'm excited because I love it.
Yeah, oh god.
I don't know that people outside of the nerd spaces have any idea that what this show is or that it's coming out.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Are 10 million people going to watch Willow on opening day? Maybe. Maybe. I'm kind of surprised they didn't get a big name actor to come in. Because if look, and this is not I want to be very clear. I love Val Kilmer. I'm heartbroken over what is going on with him, and his cameo in Top Gun Maverick was insanely beautiful to me. But you can't bring him back, right?
Yeah.
You can't, because he's in a terrible situation, and it breaks my heart. I love Val Kilmer so much, and what is going on with him and his health, I wish the best for him. I want to be very clear about that.
Yeah.
But you can't really use him to sell the new show.
Yeah.
And he's a big part of the success of the original movie.
Yeah.
And so I'm surprised they don't have a actor like a Val Kilmer to replace that star power. Because I like the cast. We've seen the trailers. I think all of them look great. None of them are really stars.
Yeah.
And so Warwick Davis is not really a star outside of certain circles. So I'm kind of surprised they haven't brought in a heavy hitter to get more name recognition behind Willow, because I don't know how you get people to tune in for it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, I say that as someone who is
know what it is. Yeah,
unbelievably excited. I've loved that movie since I was a very young child. I'm so excited. I don't know that the trailers have really sold a general audience on it yet.
Yeah.
And so for Disney Plus, like, I don't know that that's the banger end of the year show in the way that like Mandalorian season 3 would have been.
Right.
When Mandalorian season 3 comes out in March next year, don't worry about Disney Plus. The subscribers are going to be through the roof.
Yeah.
Season 3 looks insanely cool.
Yeah.
I don't know about Willow, right? It's a tough sell. Hey, do you guys remember that flop fantasy film from the 1980s whose star now has throat cancer and can't speak?
Yeah.
That's tough. That's really tough.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope it does well. I really hope it does. I think that fantasy is thriving in a way right now that I love to see, but it will only continue to do so if things do well. So, and if they make money.
I wouldn't worry about fantasy, because Rings of Power and House of the Dragon season 2 are coming.
Yeah.
Witcher season 3 is coming.
That's true.
Witcher Blood is coming. Willow's coming. That's at least five shows.
Yeah, we're pretty spoiled.
No, I don't know that Witcher Blood Origin will have a season 2, but I think all of those other shows will have seasons beyond. I think we're going to have fantasy for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
With Rings of Power and House of Dragon. I hope Wheel of Time keeps going.
Yeah, me too.
Rafe Judkins tweeted that he is in wherever getting ready for season 3. So, there's good signs there, right?
Okay, yeah.
They're getting ready for season 3, so Wheel of Time will at least get 3 seasons. I hope for more. But
do you think it's possible that Witcher doesn't get its 4th season?
Oh, the Liam Hemsworth season? No.
Okay.
No, I don't think they make that announcement unless they're pretty gung-ho about it. Because I'm willing to bet that Liam Hemsworth is a big enough name that his contract would be guaranteed.
Fair enough.
If you cancel the show, he's still getting paid.
Right. So just make it and put it out there.
And why not, right? I think that Henry Cavill not being in Witcher, this might be controversial. I don't think it's as big a deal as people are making it out to be.
I mean, a lot of people don't love the writing of the Witcher shows, and they like him.
Sure. I also think that the controversy will be enough to get people to tune in to see why it's different.
Sure, yeah.
And I think that Liam Hemsworth is talented enough and pretty enough that there is an opportunity there for the controversy to bring people in to be like, what happened? Yeah. I watched Witcher season 1, but wait, Henry Cavill's not in the season?
Yeah.
I need to go see that.
Yeah.
Tune in, and a percentage of them will be like, oh, Liam Hemsworth is fine. I'm going to watch this.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's a large percentage of the audience out there who doesn't actually care that much.
Sure.
And if you go on Twitter right now, yes, there is a ton of women and gays crying out over this, right? And some straights too. But mostly the women and the gays are upset about the Henry Cavill stuff. I think that you're going to find people who don't watch our show, people who are regular, they want something fun on Netflix on a Friday night, are going to, the week leading up to it, they're going to be spammed with Henry Cavill's not in The Witcher. The Witcher's coming. I think that this is going to be a statement about Netflix. Netflix does not market fucking anything well. Shows come out that I would love. Warrior Nun came out on Friday, and the only reason I knew about it was because I follow the creator and some of the writers on Twitter.
Yeah.
I did not see an ad for Warrior Nun.
Nope.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Season 2 came out on Friday, and there was no marketing.
Yeah.
I think Witcher Season 4 will be the most marketed Netflix show because the week leading up to it, everyone who doesn't give a shit will see nothing but Witcher's on Friday, and I'm not watching it because they got rid of Henry Cavill, and that person will be like, oh, there's a Witcher show on Friday.
Like, what?
I guess I'll throw that on.
Yeah. No, you're right. Netflix is garbage at marketing.
They're terrible at marketing.
Wild. Someone wants to know if we're covering The Last of Us.
Fuck yes. Are you kidding me? Are you Daddy Pedro? I get a double dose of Daddy Pedro early next year? You think we're what? You think we're gonna skip it? January 15th, baby! I'm so excited. The Last of Us might be the thing I'm most excited about right now. I love both of those games dearly.
Yeah.
I love the first Last of Us. I love Pedro Pascal. I love little Mormont girl.
Lyanna Mormont. Yes.
I am over the moon. Of course, I will be watching it every day. For months.
Every day.
I'm going to be dissecting it. I'm going to make those little videos where people put the red bubbles and the arrows on their thumbnails because they're like, look at this thing that you didn't see in the license plate in the back of the... What? The Last of Us looks rad. It's filmed in my hometown. Our hometown.
Yes. Yeah.
Of course we're going to be talking about fucking Last of Us.
Where we went to the dentist, that's where they filmed in that mall.
A large percentage of the Last of Us TV show is filmed in the place that I would go to once every 6 months. My whole life.
Yeah.
Northland Mall.
Yeah.
Where my dentist used to be before he was bought out by the Last of Us TV show so that they could have the mall.
You know what? Northland Mall was always a dump, so it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Northland Mall was the best.
It's funny. I would take the bus past there almost every time because the 8 would be the thing that would get me to the buses that ran downtown. And it went past there. And I remember distinctly the one time the bus driver just stopping and going in for McDonald's. And I was like...
That sounds like Calgary.
Oh, yeah.
I have such fond memories of that mall because my one of my grandfathers, he and his friends would meet there every morning for coffee. because they were all retired. And so he's passed on now, and we miss him dearly. But that was where I would see him a lot. We would go there. I would get my teeth cleaned, and then I would sit with my grandfather and have a coffee or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe reverse that order. I wouldn't have a coffee after getting my teeth cleaned. So that mall is just, it's one of those places where, to me, it's not a great mall.
No.
But it was, that mall and my grandfather are the same thing in my head a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I can't think of it without him. So just, it has like an emotional connection. It's going to be very weird to see a place that means so much, that I know so well, and that means so much to me because of my grandfather who's passed on, now be overrun with zombies. That might be a weird experience watching the show, I'm not gonna lie.
That's fair.
But yeah, fond memories.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Yeah, no, next year's gonna be great for TV, I think.
Oh yeah, 100%. There's a lot of stuff that I'm really looking forward to.
All right, we're at the hour mark on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Should we get into Black Panther?
Yeah. Do we do it as like a separate thing?
No, we'll just keep going, and then I'll cut it out later.
And are we uploading as a separate video so people just?
I'm gonna upload it on the new Nightly Morning Show Clips the new Nightly Morning Show Clips channel, and then I'm gonna link it in the community tab to our YouTube.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So guys, segments from the Nightly Morning Show the show as a whole will live on the Nerdy Nightly channel, and then we're gonna take segments out and put them on another channel, because that's what other people do, and they are successful, and I want success. Because I want to have enough money to hire an editor to take work off my plate.
Yeah. Yeah, full-time editor. We need Brandon full-time.
I also want a full-time social media manager.
That would be the
to remind me to take photos for my Instagram. I will pay someone $20 a week to text me once a day to say take a photo for your Instagram.
Wow, what a deal. Oh my god.
We're not going to jump straight into spoiler thing first. Do we have a spoiler thing to let people know they're going to be spoiled?
Like an overlay?
That would be a good idea.
That monkey got up in here with a big brain.
You talk for a second. I'm gonna work on that.
Well, do you want to do like we've already done our non-spoiler.
Yeah, but I wanted to talk with people about their thoughts before we go into spoilers.
Okay, that's fair. So we are going to start with non-spoilers.
And then while we talk about non-spoilers.
Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna pull up the chat on this side. Talk to people. I want to know what y'all think about Black Panther before we go into spoilers.
I mean, here's the thing: the people who like have seen it won't care about spoilers, and the people who haven't seen it aren't gonna have an opinion on it.
You know what? That's fair.
Jeez, I'll text you for free. Oh my god. Yeah.
Jason Trainer just really wants my phone number.
It's fine. I understand. What you doing?
I accidentally pressed command instead of.
What's Dresden Files?
I don't know, but people have said that we should watch it.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, Blue, I don't know. I can't really speak on that one because I don't know the Dresden Files at all. But, yeah.
Is there any other news that we haven't covered that we should before we get out of here? Before we go into spoilers? Is there anything else we should talk about? Does anyone have any, like, preferences for... Did we miss anything important? Oh, Democrats kept the House. Or the Senate, not the House. Democrats kept the Senate. They might still keep the House. That's good news.
Very good news.
Let's all be very happy about that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Narcissus says, I liked it, but it isn't one of my favorite MC movies. I'm with you.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Just gonna, like, put that in the... Nice. Oh, you're making a separate overlay. I understand.
Well, we don't have an overlay on right now, so.
Oh, at all. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, all right. We are moving into spoilers for Black Panther 2. Wakanda Forever. What? I don't know what that is. You can just add text?
Apparently. I'm just going to delete that, and then I'm going to add...
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Browser source? Yes, there it is. Okay. And then we're just going to... Isn't it fun when you do this live?
Oh, it's great. This is the best content. You have to make it 1080p because it's in the bottom, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Properties.
No, yeah.
19, 20.
1080.
Oh my god, I'm so talented.
You nailed it. Great.
Fancy.
Spoilers.
All right. For those of you who have to go, because we're going to get into spoilers, so sorry.
Yeah,
do something nerdy tonight.
Yeah, thank you for being here. We'll hopefully see you next week.
Like the video on your way out. Follow me. I'm at nerdynightly.
And I'm at Claris Polaris.
But this is where the spoiler chat begins. Full spoilers for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
And
that was the Nightly Morning Show. It wasn't a great Nightly Morning Show.
Scene.
We'll be back next week with structure.
Oh,
we just kind of chatted.
I pulled up Am I the Asshole?
Do you want to do that before spoilers?
Do we want to? I mean, I feel like people are already left, but
I don't think anyone's left yet. We're gonna do a quick Am I the Asshole before spoilers.
Great.
Let's get into it.
Okay, I took a picture. For Am I the Asshole? All right. Am I the asshole for letting my mother have a copy of the key to our new home despite my wife's objection? Okay.
Wait, for letting who have a copy?
My mother. So, situation. I, male, 34.
No, we have to decide based on the title, and then we decide on the rest.
Okay. Am I the asshole for letting my mother have a copy of the key to our new home despite my wife's objection?
The wife's objection's got to be a pretty big objection, right? I'm gonna go no for a number of reasons.
Okay. It's
good to have a backup key at another house.
Fair, yeah.
If you have kids, this is a really good thing to have.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna say in a general sense, no, unless the mother is a nightmare, right? So let's get into why the mother's a nightmare.
All right, I, male 34, recently bought a one-story house.
Okay.
It was purchased solely by me. My wife did not help save for it. I started saving for it before I had even met her, and it's in
okay. I was like, what do you mean your wife didn't help save for it? You're married.
And
but that makes more sense.
My name. When my parents threw us a party for this happy occasion, Mom asked for a copy of the key in case of an emergency. I let her have it, which made my wife upset. She didn't say anything at the time, but she waited till we were alone and started arguing with me, saying I shouldn't have let my mother have a copy of the key. I said, why? Since my mother is known to respect privacy and is a very trusted member in the family. She says she does not feel comfortable with the idea of someone else who is not a resident to have a copy of the key. She also brought up how my mother didn't pay a penny towards the house, so this should disqualify her from getting the key. I said it was not a big deal, but she kept persisting, saying I need to take the key back. Quite frankly, this had me fuming. I pointed out that I'm the one who bought the house, and it's my decision to decide who gets to have a copy of the key. End of story. She screamed at me, saying that technically she did contribute towards the house savings back when she used to pay for our rent.
What?
When she used to... Hang on, sorry. She did technically contribute towards the house savings back when she used to pay for our rent and daily expenses while I saved money. I told her...
What?
I told her that she's acting as if I put my mom's name on the title, which is ridiculous, but she said that I have no respect for her opinions and keep undermining her input. We've been going back and forth on it since then. She's now letting me know that if I don't take the key back, she'll do it herself. I think she's being irrational and unreasonable, acting like that over a copy of the house key. This decision I made could save us in case of an emergency, but she keeps downplaying it. There's an edit at the bottom. I think it is crucial to mention. There's no conflict between my mother and my wife. They're on near perfect terms. I thought I'd already established that above.
Dude, your wife's nuts.
Yeah.
That's an look, if the mother-in-law is a nightmare who, always comes around, I can understand that. I've dated some girls whose moms, I'm like, dude, your mom is a lot to deal with. But, the fuck?
Yeah. Here's the thing. Okay,
What could say you're out of town, and you need someone to go over and turn the stove, the oven off. You know what I mean? There's little reasons. Who cares if she has a key? Do you think she's gonna rob you?
I don't know. My thing reading this is that there has to be something between her and the mother for her to feel
that the guy's
this way.
so unaware of.
Yeah, has to be. There is no reason for a rational person to feel so upset about a family member having a key to the home. Like, you know, for us, like, if
MJ
you're...
Daniel says, I predict a divorce lawyer in the future.
Yeah, I wonder. This is one of those things where I'm like, I don't think you're the asshole. I think that giving your mom a copy of the key is, like, totally reasonable. Like,
and just a normal thing to do.
Yeah. Her, like, not putting her name on the title, like, that doesn't matter. Now, on the other hand, if there is something between the mom and the wife that this guy doesn't know about that makes her feel unsafe in her own home with this person having the key, then that is a different story. But we don't have that piece of the puzzle, and so we have to assume that it does not exist.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Having a key doesn't mean you own it.
I know.
Like, does she think that the mom's gonna start squatting? Like,
I don't know.
Woof, dude. You are officially not. I was right the first time. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole.
Your wife?
Yeah.
Maybe is.
Maybe is.
Beatdown Brandon says next year's going to be massive for DC Studios, and as a DC fan, I can't wait. Time for us DC fans to see the characters we love finally get the respect they deserve. Thank you, James Gunn. James Gunn will not be responsible for anything that happens with DC next year, but in 2024,
absolutely, yes.
You might be right.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you for that. That hurt my brain.
Yeah, that one was wild. And I pulled this one specifically because I went into the comments and people are very conflicted. There's a lot of people saying...
In what world?
There's a lot of people saying that he's the asshole for making his wife feel unsafe in her own home. And I'm like, I don't know why she feels unsafe. Like, there's no, like, reasonable reason for this. So I'm going to go with not the asshole.
What's the mom going to do? Come over and, like, beat her up? I don't feel safe. Guys, secret.
I don't know.
Here's a secret for you that you might not want to hear. Locks don't do anything.
Well,
They don't. I can get
only
through...
for a normie. Like,
I can get through any door that you put on your house, unless it's, like, something that most people can't afford.
Yeah.
If you have a regular-ass door, I can get through it. I'm not going to, because I'm a decent person. But my point is, like, locks are security theater. And...
Security theater.
If you're so worried, if you think that lock is stopping everyone now, except for your mother-in-law, and now you're unsafe because your mother-in-law can get into your house...
Yeah, I don't get it. There has
Your husband would just let her in anyway.
Well,
it's not like...
There has to be something else going on here that we don't know of.
If you gave the key to some, like a homeless person that maybe lives on the corner of the street, then I would be like...
Sure.
Good on you for, like, you know, that's a kind thing to do. Like, maybe let that person use your bathroom. But, like, I get why that would maybe make you feel unsafe, right?
Yeah.
But it's your mother-in-law.
I don't get it.
If she calls and asks, you're going to open the door for her.
Yeah, I don't really get this one. This is very strange. I don't think we have all the pieces of the puzzle, so I'm going to go with not the asshole.
This is a woman who thinks that, like, nothing bad will ever happen to me. Because... Like, I will never be in an emergency scenario, so I can't imagine why I would need an emergency key.
An emergency key, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways.
Like, what if, like, you guys get in a car accident and your mother-in-law needs to, like, go get you clothes while you're at the hospital?
Yeah.
Like, heaven forbid,
or, like,
right? I'm not wishing that upon anyone,
like,
but...
You know, like, if there is one, obviously, like, but, you know...
Or she's taking care of your kids one day and she's staying at your place. Do you really want to have to be concentrating? Like, it's your mother-in-law.
There's a lot of great reasons to give a trusted person a key to your home.
Oh, if I lived in the same city as my parents, they would have a key to my house.
Yeah, I would be like, cool.
Because I don't think they're going to use it very often.
No.
But in an emergency...
I know.
Prepare for emergencies.
Yes. Hi, Fabu. We were just doing an Am I the Asshole?
Wow. That...
Yeah.
That's wild. Also the, like, I saved up for this, she didn't. And she's like, no, we saved up for it because I was paying our bills. Like, that part of it's kind of insane.
That part is very weird. Like, definitely they're getting divorced. Like, there's no way they make it.
That gets into people having different finances when they're married, which I think is weird.
I know.
I find the idea of having, like, separate bank accounts when you're married to be very, like...
Like, why get married? Like, the reason to get married is to deal with all the legalities of it, right? Like, that's the reason we got married. We don't believe in, like... The fact that we, like, said some words and signed a piece of paper makes our, like, relationship any better.
No, we got married for tax reasons.
Yeah, you get married for the paperwork. And so, like, not... the whole thing about the house is, like, very confusing. I don't,
Yeah, I've said this a million times, and I'll say it again right now. Marriage isn't romantic. weddings are romantic.
Sure, yeah.
Because it is a moment of public declaration of love. But marriages aren't inherently romantic.
Yeah.
Love is romantic. And relationships are romantic. But marriage is legal. Marriage is financial.
Yes.
We're married so that if I get into a car accident, heaven forbid, you can come visit me in the hospital.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're married for technical reasons, not for like the piece of paper does not make us more romantic towards one another.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like it seems weird that she's not. Yeah. They're not making it, guys. They're not making it. F's in chat for their marriage, please.
Sabu says separate finances makes anything but financial a nightmare. 100%.
Yeah.
And like I understand like having having separate credit cards for like I have a credit card with like a very small limit that I sometimes use for like a cup of coffee or whatnot, right? Like stuff that like doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, yeah.
Or like if I have like a credit card that she doesn't have access to, so that if I want to buy her a birthday present,
I can't just accidentally stumble on the statement, right?
Right. And so like she can't get into my Tangerine and I can't get into her like smaller credit card, but our main credit cards that we put most of our purchases on are also shared. We don't have any separate money because why? Like what? I don't know.
Yeah. There's some deeper stuff going on over there. So wish you all the best, OP.
Wow, what are the F's in chat about?
I said F's in chat for
their marriage.
Their marriage. I gotta stop saying that because then we think the stream has died.
Yeah. Julie Gibson says, I have a key to my daughter's house and to my ex's house with his wife. I also watch their dogs when I take a vacay.
Aww.
Trust is required. I agree with that. I think that's...
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like, he explicitly said that, like, he trusts her. She's a responsible member of the family. Like, yeah. It's weird.
If you don't trust your mother-in-law in an emergency, I just hope you don't have any emergencies.
Well, yeah, there's gotta be something else going on there.
All right, shall we get into Black Panther?
Let's do it. Guys, if you are here now, we are going to be talking about spoilers for Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever. This is your time to leave if you do not want to be spoiled. What's
trying
hard
to point
to do?
at it.
Yeah. It's a fictional thing.
This is great podcast material.
Yes, all the listeners are going to be very enthralled by our physical movements.
Black Panther Wakanda Forever spoiler chat.
3, 2, 1. Spoilers. All right.
I really hated the Midnight Angel CGI.
The Midnight...
Every time in the final battle, every time Okoye talks, her, like, faceplate CGI's away, and then it hovers around her head. I just wish they just kept the helmet down while she spoke.
First of all...
Because the, like, blah, 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 blah of it...
Weird.
Yeah.
Second of all, it's kind of not the... I don't love the design of it. The color's cool.
Oh, you don't like how they look like a Power Ranger fucked a Predator?
It's a fucking Predator. So,
oh, yeah.
Like, I the moment I saw it, I was like, oh, it's the Predator crossover with Marvel. And I was like, okay, sure. Also,
the Blue Ranger fucked a Predator, and
yes,
that was the...
Yeah. Then that was her suit. 100%. And then Riri Williams built a Pokemon suit.
She looks like she looks like the Red Battleborg.
Yeah. Some of the design choices were very questionable. Let's go back to the beginning.
From the top.
Yes.
Make it drop. That's some wet ass pussy.
Yes.
Welcome to our Black Panther.
Thank you, Nikki.
Narcissa says the intro dialogue was Shuri asking Bast to give her a reason to have faith in her. Really?
Okay. See, yeah, we missed that.
They never bring up Bast again in the movie.
Yeah, it was weird because the theater just goes dark. And then there's dialogue, and if you're not paying attention, you miss it.
Well, and it was a slow... It wasn't even like a snap to black in the theater. It was like slowly going dark. And like everyone was just talking. So I totally missed the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, it was just... Okay. So obviously, I'm going to say that the best parts of this movie are when they're talking about T'Challa and his passing and his impact and how like grief affects people, right?
Yeah.
His influence on this movie and Chadwick Boseman's influence from beyond the grave, you know, like is remarkable. It's beautifully done, and I think that was the best parts of the movie. And then there was like other mishmash stuff going on that was kind of a mess.
I don't think it was a mess like you do. I think the movie was a lot better than you do. I think that, but I agree with, I see, here, the difference between us is that I think the strengths are just as strong as you do. I just don't think the weaknesses are as detrimental to my enjoyment of the movie as they were for you.
Yeah.
Right? But I like one of the strengths, the opening scene. Shuri and Queen Ramonda, like, because you start off with an incredible opening sequence. Shuri, Letitia Wright brings a lot to this movie. I don't necessarily agree with Letitia Wright's politics or her views on vaccines. I'm very pro-vaccine, but setting that aside, because I don't just want to talk about real-world shit from someone I don't know. I don't know her personally, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Her anti-vaccineness might be completely blown out of proportion by the media.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I'm acknowledging that because we had comments on our non-spoiler chat that were our non-spoiler review, which is also available on the Nerdy Nightly YouTube channel. I want to move on from that because I'm acknowledging it, but I want to move on from it and just talk about the movie.
Yeah.
Without the real world of it all, Letitia Wright's performance in this movie is unreal. Yeah. I think she blew me away. She was very funny in the first movie. I thought that she had like a charm to her in the first movie that drew everyone to her.
Yeah.
But if you watch the first movie, I don't think that you look at that performance and go, she's going to deliver a powerhouse, emotional, like baseball bat of a performance.
Yeah.
Like a thick bat of emotional like waves just hits you constantly from her. She's incredible.
She did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree with that. But Marisa, I agree. The movie was way too long. Way too... if I'm checking the time at any point during the movie, you've lost me.
Especially in a superhero film.
Yeah. Yeah. I should be shutting off my brain and just like absorbing the information that's being chucked at my face.
Well, and the stuff like, that made me do that was like, I love Martin Freeman. And I think that Everett Ross had a really interesting part of the first movie.
He did not have an interesting part of this movie.
Him and Valentina, like, it was really fun to find out that they were married, which is wild. But other than that, like, I didn't care at all.
Didn't give a shit, and it didn't influence the main story basically at all. I think it was only there to like potentially lead into a third film where Wakanda goes to war with the rest of the world.
But also, like, he's like a criminal now, right?
Yeah.
Like he's
a criminal, and they broke him out of a prison van, and he is now gonna be, I guess, a refugee in Wakanda. They're gonna like keep him there. I don't know. Yeah.
Narcissus says, I like 3-hour movies. I don't have a problem with 3-hour movies.
Yeah, I don't.
When there's 3 hours, when they're structured in a way that I wasn't looking at my watch because it was long. I was looking at my watch because nothing was happening.
Were boring. Yeah.
And
I will like the
main plot. It sometimes felt like they had forgotten about the main plot.
Yes, 1,000%.
Like, I think this movie felt as long as Justice League, and Justice League is a 4-hour film.
Yeah.
Because Justice League is the main thrust of where it's going is so certain throughout all of Zack Snyder's version of Justice League. And in this movie, it's not. Like, I think that when they first get to Talokan, we get this great introduction to the Talakanil, right? Where they murder everyone on that boat for being there, which I thought was a little bit unnecessary.
Yeah, they're a violent people.
Should we get into Namor's plan? And why I think that, like, there's a lot of people calling Namor an anti-hero, and I think he's a straight-up villain.
He's a villain. Yeah.
I wish they had actually made him more... not his backstory. His backstory was great. I really loved a very, like, honest and full-bodied look at the realities of colonialism, right? I thought that that part of the movie was handled really well. When they get to his present day, I didn't really understand him. I didn't understand what his relationships were within the Talakanil.
He didn't have any. We didn't see any.
And I think that that's kind of where it starts to become a little bit muddy for me when it comes to Namor. And why I wish that instead of having more Riri Williams, and maybe we left Ironheart to her own show.
Her own thing, yeah.
I wish that all of the time that Riri had taken up had been given to meeting other Talakanil.
Yes.
And really setting up, like, what Namor's life is like.
What his life is like, what his plan is like, what the society is like. Because the
he's
one girl dies.
600 years old.
Yeah, and the one girl dies, and he's, like, very upset about it. And, like, it's... You were guarding a prisoner. Like, you had her guarding a prisoner.
Who you kidnapped. Because you were going to murder
and you're upset.
They aged up Riri, because I think that if she was 16, it would have been like, you're going to kill a child.
Yeah.
And because in the comic, she's a kid. But
yeah.
I just wish that I understood Namor's connection more. Because he's this immortal person who lives among people who are not like him in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And unless they are also immortal.
No, they're not.
But so I felt like I didn't really get it felt like they wanted Namor to have been alive for colonialism.
Yeah.
And also be a member of his society. But like, I never really got the vibe that the present day Namor was 600. You know what I mean? Like, I never got the sense that this character...
400? 600?
500. Sorry, he's 500 years old.
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
I wish that I wish that we had just spent more time with the Telekineal so I could have understood what was going on with them a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because Namor's plan is essentially, I want to murder everyone on Earth.
Yeah.
So that they don't find out that we exist.
Yeah.
Which is just such an aggressive point of view.
Yeah.
They might try and colonize the bottom of the ocean where they can't live.
Yeah, that made no sense to me. I understand, like, I understood them attacking the ship, and I guess, like, they killed everybody so that, like, nobody knew about them. Okay, fine. The idea of going to war with the entire surface world for what makes no sense to me. And the weirdest part and you talked about this, is that Shuri kind of makes him an offer in the beginning.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. And then later on...
She beats him up, and he's like, I'll take that offer that you gave me 2 hours ago.
Yeah, he's like, oh, okay. And we're like, sure, fine. Like, nothing really happened there or, like, progressed. And at the end, you see him being like, yes, when the world goes to war with Wakanda, we'll be their only allies, and then we'll have the chance to wipe everybody out. I'm like, why do you need to murder every single person on the surface? Like, just, if you stay down there, like, they're not gonna...
But also, it gets into how does Namor know anything about the surface world? Because his people can't go spy on the surface world. Like, Namor seems to know a lot about international geopolitics.
They get cable and they get TikTok down there, and I don't
do
get
they
it.
have technology? And like, these are the questions that I wish that I knew, because when Namor sneaks into it, Wakanda, they're like, we don't know how we got past our security, and they're like, oh, Talokan must have this incredible technology that's more incredible than our magic technology.
And we don't see any of that. It's like murky underwater shots.
They're like farming.
Yeah.
They're just farming.
I'm like, cool, okay.
And so I think that if we had just spent time with them to understand why they were a threat.
Yes.
And this gets into, I know that this is mostly complaining about the Telekineal, and I'm sorry. I
thought the idea of them was so cool.
1,000%.
Right? Like,
and Tenoch Huerta's performance?
Yeah.
Incredible, right?
Yeah.
I thought that he brought it.
But the movie did not do them justice.
But they kept telling us that the Telekineal were scary. And they kept telling us how dangerous they were. And
I guess because there's a lot of them?
And, well, sure.
But that's the thing.
But if there's so many of them, how does nobody know? Like, it just gets into... There's so many questions that this movie has no interest in even beginning to answer.
Yeah.
How are the Telekineal technologically more advanced than Wakanda? I don't know.
Because here's the thing. If they were more technologically advanced than Wakanda, they can do the weird shield thing. That's why nobody thought, like, Wakanda was anything, right? Because there was a shield up. Yeah. You couldn't see in. It was very misleading. Like, the Telekans could easily do something like that if they are more advanced than the Wakandans. And so them, like, deciding to go up and murder everybody doesn't make any sense. Like, your people can't live on the surface.
But if you're so much more advanced than the Wakandans, why do you need the Wakandans to go to war with everybody? That's no not idea. Really answered. Like, it just is like, we are the same. And I'm like, oh, you're not though.
I guess it's because they are the other holders of vibranium, right? Okay, and so if Talokan and Wakanda teamed up, they'll take a lot less casualties on their side because they have the vibranium. Whereas if Talokan fought against Wakanda, because they both have vibranium, then that changes the dynamics of the fight. So he's probably trying to save his people from too many casualties, but that was not explained.
For the purpose of just murdering everybody. Though.
Yes, for the purpose of
because of what happened 500 years ago.
Yes.
And this is why I wish we'd spent time with the Telekineal.
Yes.
do they hate the surface world? Because like,
No idea.
Because it gets into that weird thing of like, do they want to murder everyone because of what happened to their great 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 grandparents? Do you know what I mean? And look, I'm not saying I'm not trying to forgive colonialism.
No.
But I'm just saying that I don't think the answer to colonialism is murdering people for not knowing that you exist.
Yeah, it's murdering billions.
On the off chance that they might find out that you exist, but they're going to find out that you exist when you murder them all.
Yeah, I don't know.
I couldn't really wrap my head around why the other Talakanil want to fight so bad.
I don't know. They believe that they believe that Namor is a god, right? And so I think they will follow him to the ends of time, no matter what. Whatever he says goes. Mm-hmm. Right? But yeah, none of them had any personality.
None of them had any perspective.
No.
None of them, and I wish Namora and I can't remember the other guy, that guy with the hammerhead. Yeah. I just wish they had more scenes so we could develop what the perspective of a normal Talakanil was instead of 500-year-old Namor.
Yeah.
Is it just that Namor keeps telling them to hate the surface world? Because none of them can go up there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they can go up there with the mask and stuff, but they can't stay there for long.
But then we would know they're there.
Yes.
The problem with the Talakanil is that they cannot spy on the human world because they can't go up there without looking like they're from Avatar.
They're blue, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it gets into this really Atuna, thank you, Narcissus. It gets into this weird question of like, how does Namor know so much about the surface world despite the fact that he's the only one that can go up there?
No idea. He still has like wings on his ankles, so I don't know how he can.
And why does he want to murder people? Like, why does he want to be the thing that he hates? And I understand a character wanting to be the thing that he hates. That's a motivation that is done because it's great storytelling. But you have to give me the reason why.
Yeah, you can't just say that that's the case. You have to show us more. And that was the problem, is this movie had too many things going on that they couldn't show us what we needed to know.
You know what I think my problem with the movie is?
What?
The inciting incident of the movie is T'Challa's death.
Yeah.
The inciting incident of the movie has nothing to do with Namor.
No.
The villain of the film and the inciting incident of the film are completely divorced from one another to the point that Namor doesn't have an inciting incident. The inciting incident for Namor's anger is 500 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Because Namor is upset about them mining vibranium, but they have the people who are mining vibranium, or who haven't, not even mining it, who
they found it. Yeah.
Those scientists have not done anything wrong. They do not know that Talokan is there. Yeah. They do not know that they're trespassing.
No.
They are murdered because they're ignorant.
Yeah.
Which is maybe not great.
No, it's not a good reason to kill somebody.
And so you just get into kind of this weird, the storyline is about hatred that goes one way because the other side is ignorance.
Yeah.
And then it's just murder because of ignorance, which makes the character who is technologically more advanced. Like, yes, the Spanish in the 500 years ago are colonizers. Mm-hmm. They're terrible people. I'm not defending them.
Yeah.
But now Namor is the person who is more technologically advanced, right?
Yeah.
And physically stronger, is more advanced in almost every way. And so his desire to kill the surface world is coming from a place of power that just muddies the water on his revenge story because he's taking revenge against people who are not affiliated with what happened to him 500 years ago.
It's just like weak. It's just weak storytelling. And I think like Chadwick Boseman and Wakanda deserved better, right? Like the first Black Panther movie was fantastic. And this one felt like it had a huge checklist that it needed to fill.
Yeah.
And it didn't all work together, right? Like as much as I loved Riri Williams as a character and the actress, she was not necessarily she took away too much, I think, from the movie. I think that this movie should have leaned more into T'Challa and his absence and what that meant for people.
Well, I think that this is what gets into I think when I was watching this movie, it felt like I was watching a script that had been written for T'Challa to lead that then had to be not completely rewritten. I think they kept too much from the script that had T'Challa in it.
Yeah.
And tried to build a Shuri framework around a T'Challa movie.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening is there's too many scenes that are from T'Challa's version of the film.
Yeah.
That are just those scenes with more for Shuri.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's where the runtime got extended. Is that instead of trying to rewrite the movie from scratch, they tried to keep this Namor versus Black Panther idea that they had.
Yeah.
And they built it out in a way that just added more to give Shuri this like T'Challa grief storyline on top of it.
Yeah.
But Namor does not have any connection to the T'Challa grief storyline. Riri Williams doesn't have any connection to the to the larger Namor doesn't have any connection to it. Riri Williams doesn't have any connection to the T'Challa grief story.
Yeah.
So what you get is that all of our Wakandan characters are experiencing the movie through this lens of grieving over T'Challa.
Yeah.
And none of the other characters in the movie have any relationship with that.
Yeah.
And so it's these two things running in tandem with one another. And because of the strength of the performances, the grief storyline overtakes the audience, I think, in terms of what is valuable to the movie.
Yeah.
And the other storylines, because they aren't in connection to that larger grief storyline, they don't really feel like they're as connected to what the audience is there for.
Yeah.
And that becomes tough.
Yeah. The other thing as well is like the ending felt kind of lackluster in terms of action and plan. Honestly, the Wakandans' plan is bonkers, but we don't need to break that down. It's just whatever. But like all the good action scenes from that final battle were showed in the trailer. And so,
except for the Midnight Angel stuff, but I didn't love how they looked.
But even that was like fun, like we had a really cool action sequence on the bridge between Okoye and...
Even that gets confusing, right? Because
yes.
they set up that the Talakanil are superhuman.
Yeah.
That they have these... They're so much stronger than the average person. How could we ever fight them? And then Okoye immediately kicks 3 of their asses without breaking a sweat.
But they're also like immortal because she gives them like deadly wounds.
And that never comes back!
I know, never comes back.
The guy gets stabbed through the chest and he's fine. And then are all Talakanil... Do they all heal from any wound? That was it's so bizarre that they have... I get that it's Disney and they're like, well, we don't want to have her kill somebody on screen, so he's fine.
But that's weird because...
But why write it that way?
Because they're murdering police officers locally.
So many police officers.
During that entire chase sequence.
Riri Williams drops a spy plane on like 10 cops.
Yeah.
And they're dead.
Yeah.
This movie is like... This movie wants to grieve one man... Mm-hmm. But in the grief of that one man, this movie murders so many people.
Yeah.
So many.
All the scientists on the ship.
Wakandans die at the end of this movie.
So many Wakandans die. Like,
and there's no grief for them.
At least 30 local cops die who are just trying to do their job. Like
all the scientists on the ship.
It is wild.
All of the Wakandans who die, like there is so much death and destruction in this movie.
Yeah.
That it almost takes away from grieving T'Challa a little bit.
It does.
Because you get into the I understand that T'Challa is the king, and I understand that the grief is different, but there's a level of grief in this film that I was like, this is wild. There's a level of murder,
yeah,
and wanton murder that I was like, oh, the morality of this movie is very bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish that this movie had been about the opening scenes with T'Challa and with his mother at the,
She
meeting.
dies, and they skip over grieving her completely.
I know. She's just gone, and she deserved better. She was fucking incredible.
Yeah.
That scene with her at the, I don't know, UN meeting or whatever the hell it was. At that meeting, I wish that this is what the movie had been about. People are trying to steal Wakandan technology, and she brings them in, cuffed and whatever, but not dead, being like, here's your spies back, tell them to fuck right off.
Yeah.
And then that didn't really have anything to do with the rest of the movie, except I guess that they found the vibranium in the ocean. But I think that having the movie center around the loss of T'Challa and what that means for Wakanda and for the rest of the world would have made for a stronger film. Those are the things that were the most interesting to me and that did the best. And all this other extra stuff just felt like boom, crash, explosion, fight, Marvel superhero razzle dazzle.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So,
having said that, I still like the movie a lot. I feel like this. I feel like the spoiler chat is in our spoiler chats. I feel like people think that we're like hating, but it's more that we're trying to work through. Our spoiler chats are more about us trying to work through the things about the movie that were not quite all there for us. Because in a spoiler chat, like what it's hard for me to go like M'Baku was great. Like I don't have a lot more to say about it. Winston Duke brought a level of emotional sincerity to M'Baku while also being arguably the funniest person in the movie.
Yeah.
That like M'Baku was incredible.
Yeah. I think that our job is to get deep into our analysis. We could watch this movie and we could sit here and be like, yeah, it was fun. This person did good. This was fine. And overall, the 6 out of 10.
Well, that's what our non-spoiler review is. If you want that, like go to the non-spoiler review.
If you don't want the in-depth analysis, you can go find that. I think that like
the spoiler chat is where we get to like actually like get nerdy about it.
Yeah.
Also, my name is Nerdy.
We're here to get nerdy about it.
Did you think? My name's Nerdy. I'm gonna get nerdy.
Yeah, there's a.
I want to talk about power levels because what the fuck is up with the Midnight Angels? Okay, so when Okoye fights the first Talakanil,
I don't know.
She kicks their asses, and then their general comes in and beats her up kind of a little bit.
She holds her own, but yeah, she loses.
And then she loses.
Yeah.
Because he's super strong, but the other three were also super strong, but Okoye like wipes the floor with 3 people at once, which is harder than fighting one really good person. Yeah. Doesn't matter. So she's given a super suit for the end of the movie, which is an Iron Man suit, because it's basically just an Iron Man suit because she can fly.
Yeah.
I don't know how she's flying.
I have no idea.
It seems like, but legitimately, there's no repulsors, right, on the bottom of her hands or feet. So when the blue Midnight Angel suits are flying, it seems like it's the hair things that are that are venting, because they're like flapping, and it seems like they're flapping so that I didn't understand the Midnight Angel
Very
suits.
confusing.
But then she lands and she's fighting with the Midnight Angel suit on that is supposed to give her superpowers, and it doesn't seem like she's any stronger.
I don't know.
Because she was already able to fight him in the first fight.
Yeah.
And so she's like, the Midnight Angel suit is maybe a little bit stronger, but like if you're just going to give them superpower suits, just give everyone the heart-shaped herb. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Why not?
Just give them all the herb that you recreated.
And then you don't have to deal with having the CGI helmet things that... Marvel, please stop doing CGI helmets.
Please.
Just stop. The CGI helmets don't work.
Weird.
Jane Foster's helmet in Thor looked fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It looked bad. It was the worst visual in that whole movie was that weird CGI helmet on Natalie Portman's face. And then if you're gonna just have the helmets disappear when your characters are talking anyway, just get rid of the helmets. There's no reason for the helmets to... There's no reason for you to put CGI helmets on these characters if they're just going to...
Stop it.
Stop doing it.
Don't do it.
They don't look good. They float weirdly on their heads because they're not there. The body armor you guys have figured out, but you can't... Because the heads are moving in the shots more, they can't figure out CGI helmets, and they should just stop doing them. Just give your actors helmets. I'm sorry it's mildly uncomfortable to wear on set. Give your actors real helmets. They look fucking garbage.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of it.
At first I was like, oh, it's cool what they're doing and trying out with CGI. That's fine. And at this point I'm like, I am so over it. Yeah. Now, one thing that I will say, I will give a huge compliment to, the sound design in this movie is out of this fucking world. It's so good. Whoever was in charge of that fucking A+ S tier, like the entire movie, through the grieving, through the underwater, through the fighting, all of it, fucking chef's kiss. I do want to commend whoever is in charge of the sound design
100%.
because it was unreal. Yeah.
I also want to commend the underwater shots. I think that underwater shooting can be really tough.
Yeah.
And I want to, first of all, I want to commend the cast. If you guys haven't been watching the Talakanil cast, the actors who played them talking about Namor learned how to fucking swim for this movie, which is hilarious because there's some swim instructor out there who could be like, I taught Namor how to swim. But they learned like the girl who played Atuna, she learned how to hold her breath for 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But I thought that a lot of the underwater stuff looked like underwater, which was maybe not the way that I would have done it. But I do think that they did a really good job of keeping the reality of the underwater life real.
Yes, it looked very realistic, which to me was underwhelming. So, there's some debate in the chat. Shuri is the lead of this movie. She is the main character and the lead, and I honestly think that she does a stand-up job. This story is about her.
Who else would be the main character of this movie? it starts with her, it ends with her. She has the emotional journey.
Yeah, she's the journey.
She has
that we
most
get to
of the
go on.
action.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
most.
other than maybe Koye, but
No, I don't mean action sequences. Sorry, I mean like
okay,
she has
okay.
she has the majority of the actions of like a character making a choice and doing something.
Yeah.
Shuri does almost all of it.
It's her choices that lead to things. She's the one they go get Riri. She goes to see Talokan. She's the one who interacts with Namor.
Okoye decides to bring her along with Riri, but the reason that Okoye makes that decision is because Shuri is not moving forward. She's trying to help Shuri
move forward in her grief. Yeah.
That makes her the main character. Also, Shuri's the lead of this film in almost every way. It's 100% her story.
Yeah, it is. It's her story.
You could argue that it is split between her and Ramonda up until Ramonda's death, the queen.
Even that split doesn't feel equally balanced if it were split up until then, you know?
Yeah, but you could argue that like Ramonda has a lot of the action and reaction of the first half of the movie is Queen Ramonda's.
But she's already had her growth and her grieving process that she's trying to encourage Shuri to take as well.
Sure, but you get like the scene with the UN, like you get some of the scenes with Namor. Like you get the scene on the beach with Namor, between her and Namor. Like Ramonda has some. I would say that Ramonda is the second lead of this film.
We still have no idea how the Talokans got into Wakanda.
Yeah, and like what like I don't love that the MCU is getting really lazy about introducing new things, in that like Wakandans have magic technology, and so when you introduce another magic technology that's even more magical technology, you get into the risk of like, well, nothing really matters then. Like, because I bought into the Wakandans having magical technology because of vibranium. Yeah. But the Talokanil having better magical technology because of vibranium.
They have like more vibranium?
That's never explained or never even really gotten into, because it seems like they just have water grenades and like face masks.
I don't know if their technology is necessarily better. We're made to believe that the Talokans are like a huge, I guess.
But it has to be better, or else they would be detected by the Wakandans. The Wakandans are on high red alert, and the Talokanil still managed to sneak in and blow up Wakanda, right? Yeah. So if the Talokanil have much better technological advancements than the Wakandans, why do they only have hand grenades? Like, they don't seem to have, they ride around on whales, right? Like, it isn't like we go down to Wakanda and they have some incredible technology other than a fake sun made of vibranium.
Oh, to Talokan, you mean?
When we go to Talokan, there's the sun of vibranium, but that's the only technology we see. Like, we're never introduced to the world of Talokan's ability.
Yeah, we don't get to see their
We only
TikTok.
see that they have just vibranium spears, which the Wakandans have. Yeah. And they have they have the water balloons. Yeah. And that's it, right? Like, they don't have other things.
Which is insane.
Namor doesn't have a device that gets him past
I don't know.
The Wakanda, and so it just gets weird because they're like, oh my god, they're so scary, and I'm like, why?
But like,
you fought fucking Thanos.
They built this ship,
yeah,
right, with the fucking sonar technology or whatever it is on the bottom, and they didn't think that the water people would swim and take out a ship on the water.
There's no defenses under the ship. Yeah.
I was like, guys, come on, like you're smarter than that, please.
Makmak is saying, I'm not saying she isn't the lead in this movie. She is. I'm saying she's just a sideline character forced to the front because they didn't recast T'Challa with a star. Yeah, you could argue that, but you could also have argued that T'Challa was a sideline character of the MCU who was given a lead film because in his first movie, Captain America: Civil War, he wasn't the lead. So you can argue that she was a sideline character in the movie she's introduced in, but so was T'Challa, and T'Challa went on to be an incredible lead of his movie, and I think that Shuri is an incredible lead of this film.
Yeah, and I guess that, like, the same thing will happen to Riri. She's a side character in this one, but she's going to get her own stuff, so...
Yeah, you could argue that almost all of the MCU does that. Yeah. Spider-Man isn't introduced in his solo movie. Sam Wilson led Captain America and Winter Soldier, but he was a side character in many movies before that. Yeah. War Machine is getting the Armor Wars movie now, even though he was a sideline character played by two different actors across movies and TV shows. Like... Yeah. This happens a lot in the MCU, so I don't know that that's an argument against this movie when that's an argument against basically everyone except Tony Stark then. Because every movie...
I was going to say, Iron Man's the only one who started as the lead and was kind of always
because the only real starter leads are Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, and Thor.
Yeah.
Everyone else has been built out from the legacy that those 4 movies built through the Avengers.
Honestly, I think is one of the strengths of Marvel movies.
100%.
Is and that's what's unfortunate about Riri Williams in this one because she felt so out of place. I really enjoyed in Marvel how they're like, we're fleshing out the universe. You're gonna meet somebody here, then you're gonna see more of them, and they're gonna grow into this like character. I really think that Riri got done dirty in this because of the circumstances around the movie. And that's unfortunate because she was great. She is great. I think she will be great.
Dominique Thorne is stellar.
But yeah.
Like Dominique Thorne, they found another star.
Yeah, it's usually, I think, like the strength of Marvel movies, fleshing out the world in that way. But in this instance, it was, there was too much other things going on. I
really just think that, for me, like, it came down to her not really having any emotional stakes.
Yeah.
And
she's just kind of there because otherwise she's going to get thrown in jail, possibly?
No, she's going to get killed by the Talcans. They want to murder her. She's either going to get
killed by the Talcans or, like, the Americans are going to probably, I don't know.
No, the Americans want to hire her. They want her to build vibranium devices for them. She didn't break any laws. Well, she built them the device that they needed.
Killed a bunch of cops, so I guess at that point,
I think the MCU is going to forget about the fact that she killed a bunch of cops.
I think they are as well.
Remember when she dropped a plane on cops? That is like, and that's...
Here's the thing, they're not like nondescript, like, vans where you're like, oh, this could be like a secret organization that's maybe like shady. It's like local cop cars.
Yeah, and look, I'm not the biggest fan of the police force.
Sure,
but
yes.
I am also not an advocate for murdering them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I think that you can be both.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the Marvel movies want to have it both ways in a different way, where they want to act like individual murder is bad. Like, Shuri doesn't kill Namor at the end of the movie because she's doing the morally right thing. But, like, dropping a drone plane on police officers who are doing their jobs isn't morally bad because they're in the way.
Yeah.
And, like, that's where this movie, and that's where the whole of the MCU has this problem, right? Of, like, they want the lead characters to be morally upstanding, but the lead characters murder non-named characters sort of at will.
Yeah.
And a lot of, like, innocent people die collaterally, and the MCU moves past it really quick. And this movie does that. In that chase sequence, Riri Williams is destroying Chicago.
Yeah. It's a really tough thing about superhero films in general. You know?
Narcissus is saying she angled the plane so destruction missed all human cops.
Sure.
Not based on the movie I saw.
Sure. Yeah, it's one of those things where it is a problem, a well-known problem within superhero movies in general, right? Like, but Superman and Zod.
But Superman and Zod are fighting. The difference between that scene and this is that Superman is trying to stop Zod and can't.
Right.
Riri Williams does the math to drop a plane on those police officers. Who are just in the way because they're inconvenient. They haven't done anything to her.
Yeah.
They have not committed any sins except that they are in the way and so they die for it. Mm-hmm. Which means that morally, there's a weird question there of, yeah, Riri, they get to go back to Wakanda. I guess fuck those guys, right? Like, it was just, it's weirdly blatant how murdery it is, because they wrote the movie, right?
Yeah.
There was no necessity for it. They wrote this scene, and, like, ACAB and all of that stuff, like, I get that perspective, but no matter how far down the ACAB path you are, I don't think murdering cops is the right answer to that.
Yeah.
And I just, it was pretty blatant, and it stood out in this movie.
Yeah.
Along with all the Wakandans dying at the end before Shuri gets back in time, and you're like, wow, like fucking thousands of Wakandans die in the final battle.
Yeah, there's like 11 of them left.
Like thousands of Wakandans die, and at the end they see Shuri and they're like, yeah, we did it. And I was like,
okie dokie.
This is really sad.
Yeah.
Or it should be. This movie's supposed to be about grief. There should be a lot of grief at the end of this movie, and there isn't.
It is weirdly jubilant when I don't think it should be.
Also, God, we're going so long. I'm sorry, y'all. I feel like this is so negative, and I really do like this movie. It's just fun. It is kind of fun to talk about the stuff that doesn't work. And, like, I hate that is the truth, but, like, there's a lot of there's a lot of technicalities in this movie that don't work. And technicalities don't ruin movies for me. And I think that that's why I like this movie a lot, is that the acting and the emotional storytelling of this is very strong. And I say this a lot, and maybe it's an excuse that I use for, not an excuse, but an explanation. Because I also think Game of Thrones Season 8 has a lot of really good emotional storytelling and struggles in technicalities.
Yeah.
Right? I like the emotional storytelling of Daenerys being so gung-ho to attack King's Landing that the Iron Fleet manages to outmaneuver her.
Yeah.
I hate that David Benioff and D.B. Weiss's reason for that is that she forgot about the Iron Fleet.
Yeah.
Because all they had to say in that interview was Daenerys is so gung-ho that she does not...
She overlooks.
That she does not scout ahead enough.
Yeah.
And the Iron Fleet outpositions her. And then suddenly that whole thing is played in a different way. But it's because of the interview where he says that she forgot about the Iron Fleet that it becomes awful, right?
Yeah. Oh, she forgot.
But in my headcanon of it, it's because she is so gung-ho that she doesn't send scouts first and she gets outpositioned. She gets outflanked, right? Because that happens in war all the time. Looking at you, Vladimir Putin. How's Ukraine going? How was retreating out of Kherson last week, you bald fuck?
Ooh, how does that sting?
He will never watch this, but goddamn.
Yeah.
I like the emotional storytelling of Wakanda Forever a lot.
Yes.
I love Ramonda. I love M'Baku. I love Shuri. I think the emotional storytelling of our main cast, of our Wakandans, is so strong. I love the history that they gave Namor. I think that the present day Talocan is not set up enough, and I wanted to spend more time there.
Yeah.
But I think the history they gave Namor and the scenes between him and Shuri were electric.
Great.
They were so good.
Yes.
It's only the technicalities that I can pick apart because that part of the movie was weaker. And I think that if the technicalities matter to you more, like they clearly do for you, I think that this movie might be a bit more of a struggle. It is a long movie where some of the stuff doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
On the other side, it's a long movie because there's a lot to work through and that stuff works so well. And so I think that there's this push and pull, and I think that which thing matters most to you is going to be the thing that decides whether you like this movie or not.
Yeah, it depends on how you enjoy your art. And that is a very subjective thing. I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong if you went to this movie and you loved every aspect of it. Because that's insane. For me, when the technicalities of it, they matter more to me. I think that lazy writing is always my biggest gripe. And I don't know if this was necessarily lazy writing, but it
definitely didn't feel lazy.
But it just felt like there was like too much going on, and they couldn't complete their full sentences. And that's that for me. That is like a big ding. The actors carried it. The legacy of this movie and its previous movie carried it, but I don't think overall it's like a very good movie. Yeah. Here's the thing, Narcissus. If Shuri kills Namor, first of all, her mom shows up to her and is like, "Show him who you are," right?
Which is weird. Did she access the ancestral plane in that beat?
Yes, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
We haven't talked about the Killmonger of it all.
Oh yeah, that was also weird. But
I thought that was great. I like that scene a lot.
You have to remember that if Shuri kills Namor, then Namor's millions and millions and millions of Talokans, their god is dead. They will drag Wakanda into the depths of the ocean, right? She would be condemning all of her people.
It's war forever.
Yeah.
And that's not and
she makes a hard choice.
And what I like about Shuri is that even in her grief, she doesn't want to go to war. She wants to have one battle to end it, and that's what she gets.
Yeah.
And a lot of Wakandans die for it.
Yeah.
But in the cave scene, we set up that Shuri is saying that she wants to watch the world burn because she's upset, but she doesn't mean it. And we know that she doesn't mean it because when she's given the opportunity to mean it, when she's given the opportunity to lean in, to go full Killmonger, like Killmonger says she's going to, she doesn't. And I really appreciated that about the movie. I thought, and this is what I'm saying, the Letitia, right? All of the scenes between Shuri and Namor, fantastic.
Yeah.
I wish the final fight had been different.
Yeah. It's kind of whatever.
It was fine.
Yeah.
The choreography of it was fine. I think that's the same problem with the first Black Panther movie. I think the final fights in both movies are fine. I think the first one's a little bit better because at least the two Black Panthers in that are on an equal footing. Whereas in this, she takes up Namor's superpowers and then kind of beats him up. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It was fine. But I am glad that they kept Shuri's character consistent from the cave moment to the end.
Yes.
And like in her grief. But let's talk. There's 3 things I want to talk about before we get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
The Killmonger beat, really good. That
was interesting. Yeah.
I wish we had gotten Ramonda a little bit more after she had died because of the ability of the ancestral plane. And also, like, I just kind of wish they'd spent more time with Ramonda's death.
So, yeah.
Because that felt a little bit rushed through. But
yeah.
I thought Michael B. Jordan brought it. I do like that this version of Killmonger, because in the comic version, after he dies, he kind of has a bit more of a change of heart and, like, realizes the error of his ways. Oh, and I like that this version of Killmonger has died and didn't learn any lessons from it. I thought that was really strong. I thought that him being like, I was right, and that is why T'Challa's dead, was a strong position for him to take.
Well, yeah, which doesn't make any sense, but sure.
No, but he's coming at it from like, Wakanda's weak now, and it wouldn't have been if I had stayed in power. And I think that, like, from his perspective, like, I don't think he's wrong, right? From his perspective. And so I thought that was a really strong choice for the movie to make, and it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie because Letitia Wright brings this very oppositional performance where she is acknowledging the side of her that agrees with him, while also struggling because the side of her that is the side that Namor meets in the cave, the I don't want war, I want peace side of her, is pushing back against that. Mm-hmm. And that side eventually wins, but it doesn't win outright. And the tension between the two sides of Shuri's psyche, going through to the end of the movie, they stay in tension in a really harmonious way. Mm-hmm. And they don't really resolve until she sees her mom again.
Yeah.
Like, she really stays vengeful, but desiring a less violent outcome.
Yeah.
And those two things fight against each other through the entire rest of the film up until she sees her mom again. And so I just thought that was really well handled, and Letitia Wright brought it for that.
Yeah.
The second thing I wanted to bring up before we get to the end is the cop-out at the end of the movie, where we might have a new Black Panther again next film.
Yeah. They were like, oh, if all the misogynists get too upset that it's a woman Black Panther, we have a backup plan.
You think it was that? I don't think it's that.
No,
I think the Winston Duke scene at the end of the movie was added because of Letitia Wright's anti-vax stuff.
Oh, they're like, if you're not going to be vaccinated on set, that's your last movie.
I think that depending on how that went, I think they added what we're talking about is at the end of the movie, the waterfall scene where Shuri's like, I've got something I've got to go do. And then it looks like she's going to go do challenges to be queen of Wakanda.
Yeah.
And then Winston Duke steps off of the ship and he says that she's not coming.
Oh, that part. No, I thought you meant T'Challa's son.
Oh, T'Challa's son, I think, will be aged up for Secret Wars, and he'll be Black Panther for Secret Wars.
Gotcha.
But no, I'm talking about the Winston Duke scene where he says Shuri's not coming. I think they wrote an ending to this movie where if they do not want to move forward working with Letitia Wright because of some of her Instagram posts, I legitimately think that waterfall scene is, maybe M'Baku is the Black Panther when we next see Wakanda.
I see.
Who do you think Queen Ramonda had to fight to become Queen of Wakanda? Who did Queen Ramonda fight in the waterfall to become Queen of Wakanda?
Oh my god, it's probably I don't know. I'm like, who are other characters? Probably like M'Baku's dad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that they added the scene on the waterfall in order to give themselves an out if they want to move forward with Wakanda and not Shuri.
Interesting. Yeah.
And like, I really hope they don't do that unless Letitia Wright's a nightmare to work with. Because
if she's like putting people's safety in danger, then yes, you have to move on from that.
I don't want there to be a new Black Panther every movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would like for them to find some stability, and I thought that Letitia Wright really did a good job in this movie. So unless there's some real world stuff, she had to fight Queen Latifah.
Yes.
Just Angela Bassett and Queen Latifah fighting on a waterfall. I'd watch that whole movie.
Absolutely.
If it was just that for 2 hours, I would pay so much money.
Absolutely.
Enigma says, I thought the King and Panther didn't have to be the same person. I think that the only reason that happened with T'Challa was because his dad got too old.
I'm not sure.
But I don't know for sure.
I don't know.
But in the in the first Black Panther movie, it seems like you can challenge to be the Black Panther.
Yeah.
And not to be king.
Yeah.
But that they're synonymous. So I don't know.
Yeah, I actually don't know.
Yeah.
I have not read the comics, so I have no idea.
But yeah, no, it felt strange. It felt like a cop-out at the end of the movie that made me nervous that, like, I don't want to watch the mantle of Black Panther just be, like, tossed around like hot potato through the next few films until they figure it out. I was kind of hoping that because Shuri's emotional journey to be the Black Panther in this movie was the best part of the film, in my opinion. Like, it was really strong. When she finally figures it out, the whole, like... I knew what was going to happen as soon as Namor gives her that bracelet. And I was like, yeah. That's going to... It has the other vibranium, and she's going to mix the blue vibranium with the purple vibranium to make the new heart-shaped herb.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping the new heart-shaped herb would be blue and purple.
Oh.
I thought it was going to be a mixed herb, but then it's just purple again.
Interesting. Interesting. Gotcha. We kind of saw that one coming, but that's okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of conversation going on about Jokers and recasting when actors die.
Yes.
And I want to point out for everyone in the chat that when Heath Ledger died, they rewrote the script for The Dark Knight Rises and cut the Joker out of it because the Joker was supposed to be in The Dark Knight Rises.
That's what David Cooper said, yes.
So...
Yeah.
They have already done this once before.
Yeah, the Joker in the movie...
And I think that The Dark Knight Rises is weaker because the Joker's not in it.
Yeah.
Because I'm on record. I don't like The Dark Knight Rises, but
it's not. It's fine. But the Joker movie is like a different character than like the Batman Joker. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the DC, but it's not the same character.
Yeah. I my thoughts on the recasting conversation is that the movie would have been about that and it never would have managed to be about anything else.
Yeah.
And that the entire marketing of the film would have been about, can this guy live up to T'Challa? And the success of the movie would have been entirely based on whether or not people liked him. He was as
good as,
And like, how could you, like, you would be putting your main actor in a position that would be wildly difficult and just no one wins. The thing is, like, I understand why you would want T'Challa recast. I am not disagreeing with that point of view at all. I get it, but I think if you are Marvel and you are looking at the situation, there is no victory in it. There's no possible world where you recast, you move on, all the actors move on. Well, it's not weird at all.
They're all human beings, right? They're all humans who knew this other human, and you can't ignore that. Like, what makes art so fascinating is that it's shaped by our human experiences. And I think that if they ignored the human experience of who Chadwick Boseman was and the incredible things that he did, it would be doing a disservice, personally. I think there are definitely arguments to be made on either side of it. I see you and I hear you, but at the end of the day, this is still art, and there's still people, there's still humans, and I think that they did the best that they could with a terrible situation. Yeah.
No, I agree 100% with that. I think people are bringing up how they just recast Thaddeus Ross, right, with Harrison Ford. And it's like, well, they recast him. And I'm like, yeah, but William Hurt was an older man.
Yeah.
Who did not die quite as suddenly. Like, the thing about T'Challa and about Chadwick is that Chadwick Boseman, first of all, meant more to society as T'Challa than William Hurt did as Thaddeus Ross.
Yeah.
And also was taken so suddenly at such a young age that it became a shocking and very difficult thing to deal with.
Yeah.
There is a reality. If you die when you're older...
It's more expected.
It's more like life.
Yeah.
Than if you die in your prime when you are the king of Wakanda.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I think that, like, it's not a comparable situation, and I don't know how anyone could live up to Chadwick's legacy.
No,
he wasn't just T'Challa, he was also Jackie Robinson. And you know what I mean? Like, he was also James Brown. Like, he meant more to communities of color, especially, that I'm not a part of, but like he meant more than just being a superhero and an action star.
Yeah.
Right? He meant more than being a movie star. He was truly a icon in a way that following in his footsteps, like
Impossible.
I don't know how anyone does it.
Impossible. I cried many times during this movie because it was very emotional, but also because he was a real person.
Yeah.
And you can't separate those two. You can try, you can do your best, but at the end of the day, you can't sever that connection 100%. And
I think they could have recast if they'd waited 4 or 5 more years.
Sure, yeah.
But like, if you want this movie to come out.
But then, you know, people loved the first Black Panther movie. It did so well, and it meant so much to people that just kind of putting it on the backseat and forgetting about it would almost have been insulting to Chadwick Boseman and the legacy that he started and created and moved forward. And so, like, nobody wins in this situation. It was an impossible thing, and,
I think they came up with a version where nobody loses, though. I think that this is such a... I think that it comes down to Ryan Coogler having been so close with Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
I think that the elements of this movie that are a tribute to him, that are a collective grief of Chadwick, I think they're so well done. Yeah. It is hard to look at the way that it's handled and not see it as a gorgeous tribute to Chadwick Boseman's legacy.
Oh my God, it was heart-wrenching.
And when especially the opening scenes where you watch this nation mourn T'Challa, it is of a size and of a scope that is appropriate for the world's love for Chadwick.
I remember when we found out.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like, we were at my best friend's birthday party, and in the middle of it, I just popped up on social media, and it was awful. Like, it's awful. Yeah. And I think that's why this is why it's so delicate, and why, everyone has an opinion on it, and, like, that's fine, right? Like, it is
Everyone's
what
allowed
it
to have
is.
their opinions.
Yeah. They did the best that they could. There are problems with the movie itself that I think were poorly handled, but in terms of this, what happened with Chadwick Boseman, I think that was handled. I think they did the best that they could with this horrible situation.
I think it was very effective. I don't even think they did the best that they could. I think they did an incredible job.
They honored him, and I don't know what more you can ask for, Yeah. Like, Yeah, and like what? Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's weird. I don't think that recasting him would have worked, and I think that the movie would have bombed. I was watching a
maybe
review.
Not bombed. It would have made money, but I think that it would have. I think that we would be having an entirely different conversation where the entire review cycle about this movie would have nothing to do with the movie, and it would just be a long conversation about, well, was he as good as Chadwick? And like,
yes, and you can
I don't think you win that.
You can never get away from that.
I don't think you win that conversation ever.
No, that's just an impossible scenario for everybody involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last thing I wanted to bring up. Mm-hmm. What was it? What was the third? Oh, Chadwick's son, or not Chadwick's son? Sorry, T'Challa's son.
T'Challa. Yeah.
Did this work? Did this beat work for you?
Oh, I just told you that I thought it was because it gave them like an out if they needed it.
I found the son beat very bizarre.
Yeah.
I think it might have worked better if it wasn't a post-credit scene.
If we'd seen Ramonda meet him.
No, because they give it away too early in the movie.
But then it's part of the movie as opposed to like, oh yeah, afterthought. Oh yeah, there's a kid, right? Like,
it's
weird.
The question that comes up about it for me is like, I get not wanting Wakanda to know about the kid or the kid to be in Wakanda.
But family?
Why doesn't Shuri know? I know that Ramonda knew, which thank God. Because like, if we had found out that that T'Challa had kept his son from his mom, that would have felt very weird.
Oh my God, I know. Yeah.
I don't know. Did T'Challa not trust Shuri for some reason?
I don't know. Very weird.
I didn't get it. And then, like, I thought the beat was handled really well. I thought it was, like, beautifully shot.
Yeah.
But it would be different if it was, like, in the post-credit scene, Shuri introduced M'Baku to T'Challa Jr.
Yeah.
And was like, this is T'Challa's son. I want him to be raised in Wakanda. You know what I mean? Like, if Shuri had known.
Yeah.
But Shuri not knowing just felt very strange to me, because Shuri isn't Wakanda. Shuri's not some, like, other Wakandan royal.
It's family.
That's family.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like Marvel's like, oh, we gotta throw all the kids in this year. with Thor: Love and Thunder, Hulk.
Well, they're setting up
Black
Young
Panther.
Avengers.
Sure, it's fine.
Yeah.
It just feels like they're doing the same thing for each. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird to me that Shuri didn't know.
Shin brings up that it could also be a T'Challa that grows up with eventually marries Storm like in the comics. That would be wild, Shin.
I don't know. Nerdy seems to think he'll be in Secret Wars. You said that.
I think that he'll be. I think that he will somehow be aged up by Secret Wars.
Yeah.
I think that we will have T'Challa back as Black Panther by Secret Wars. And it will be either like a multiversal T'Challa. But this kid will be the new T'Challa in the MCU. Yeah, I do think that is going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think that is a better way to recast T'Challa within the MCU as the Black Panther because it honors Chadwick's legacy and what Chadwick brought to the character, while also allowing us to move forward with a new actor who's younger and they can sign for like a movie deal.
Yeah.
Who isn't going to age out of it.
Screen Pop makes a great point. The weird thing is that Ramonda knew about her grandson and still asked Nakoya to leave him behind for a dangerous secret mission.
Who was with T'Challa during that? Did they just leave that kid alone?
I guess.
That's bizarre.
I mean, she is like in like a house, like a group house situation.
I also love that.
Thing.
I love that no one on planet Earth knows about Talocan, and then Nakoya finds it in like 12 hours.
Yeah, she's like, I got this.
Literally,
I got this.
It manages to find where Shuri. Maybe not Talocan, because she doesn't actually go down through the magic tunnel to Talocan.
She finds the exact spot that the herb was.
Oh,
that 500 years ago these people took. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, she's incredible.
She's very talented.
Her managing to go straight to the cave that Shuri was in was a little bit like, okay.
Yeah, it was fine.
Also, did she have that? Did the Wakandans have a one-man submarine ready?
Yes.
Was that just a technology? This movie has a lot of random tech, and like the personal submarine that looks like the spaceship from Green Lantern,
or like a Tron motorbike. Yeah.
The solo submarine kind of came out of nowhere. I was like, did Ramonda bring that to her?
No idea. Anyways,
it's a good thing she had the exact vessel that she needed. That
yeah.
I guess Wakanda developed submarines. I thought that was foreshadowing. I thought that the Wakandans were going to use those submarines to fight the Talakanila in the final battle. Right? It just made sense. I thought they were setting something up.
If I said the cave had an air tag in it, an Apple air tag.
Yeah.
I guess that's what Shuri's bracelet and earrings are. Apple air tags.
You can tell that the people making the MCU are getting older because all their storylines are about parents now.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Like, Thor has a child.
Yeah.
The daughter of Gore. Hawkeye has Kate Bishop. Like, literally, like, everybody has a kid now that they're responsible for.
Yeah.
Which makes Nakoya going on this secret mission very strange.
They were like, wow, the Mandalorian did really well.
No, but actually, though, every single storyline is Lone Wolf and Cub now.
Yeah.
Lone Wolf and Cub has become the predominant storytelling device of the modern age.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
We're
like,
about to get Last of Us.
Yeah.
The porn bots are back. Well, that was fun. Thanks for sticking around. That was a lot longer than I thought it would end up being, but
I'm worried about this video.
Why?
Because I feel like I feel like we mostly like just talk about stuff that didn't work, and I don't want people to think. I just don't want people to think that I hated this movie because I didn't hate this movie. I think it's really good. I just think it doesn't make sense.
You expressly said several times that you enjoyed it.
I know, but then we went on and on about the stuff that doesn't work, and it's just because it like this movie isn't interested in setting up how things happen. It's only interested in why our characters feel the way that they do.
Yes. Don't ask questions.
And as someone who likes a little bit more how, this movie doesn't work for me on that level. But it works for me in a lot of other ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's, I guess, for the YouTube comments to decide. But
Miles Nevison says, I am saying they shouldn't have killed the character at all. Like Dark Knight didn't kill the Joker character. What do you mean? He's not in the third movie. What?
I guess they didn't have a death scene for him?
I think the movie's an 8.5.
Black Panther 2?
I said it in my review, 85%. What would have pushed it higher is if I cared about the Talakanil.
Yeah.
And not just Namor, because I do care about Namor. I think Tena Cuerta, I think his performance was awesome. we just didn't spend enough time with anyone else to understand what their relationships were with each other or to him.
Yeah.
How he's like 500 years old, what their technology was like, what they wanted. I never really understood what they wanted. Namor just didn't want people to know about him, so he was going to go to war with everyone, which seems like it was... And ultimately, that's the biggest problem with Namor's plan, is that he's like, they can't know about us, so I'm going to kill them all, which would start a war, and he can't think he's going to win that immediately. We have nukes, we have subs. Like, it's not like humanity's incapable of fighting. We have Tony Stark technology. We have Thor. We have the Hulk. Like, it's not like humanity doesn't have superheroes. And either Namor is wildly aware of the world situation.
Or he's not.
Or he's not.
Yeah.
And this movie wants to live in the world where Namor is very, very aware of, like, geopolitics and the UN, but has never heard of the Avengers.
Yeah.
Because, look, Namor's super strong. Doctor Strange kicks his ass.
Yeah.
These people beat Thanos.
Yeah.
They fought international threats. They fought Ultron. I'm telling you right now, Namor's idea that he's going to just wipe out the surface world is nonsense in this.
Yeah.
And they never set up how it isn't, and so it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Because, like, what? Does he think Doctor Strange is going to let it happen?
Yeah.
They fought Thanos. Namor should have come up with a better strategy than, if we both fight together, we'll take out all of the superheroes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna... this movie sits between a, 6.5 and a 7 for me, I think. I think I'll go with 7.
So still fresh on the Rotten Tomatoes scale.
Yeah. Because of the performances. Because, the actors, they're all incredible. The tribute to Chadwick Boseman, how they handled T'Challa, I think that those were all good choices. I'm gonna say, I guess, a 7, but it's not a movie that I want to go out and watch again because it's really hard to watch and it's heavy.
Okay, prediction time. Opening weekend, 330 million worldwide, 180 million in America, in North America.
Oh yeah, you were pretty close.
I was. People were saying it's gonna get to 200. I was like, no, it's too long to get to 200.
I was like, it's 200. Yeah.
Yeah. If it was 25 minutes shorter, I think it would have hit 200. Because you would have had more screenings and people would have gone more.
Yeah.
You would have had more multiple visits.
Well, we thought about going last night, but there was no times that worked for us.
This movie, well, yeah, because it was 9:45. I'm not going to watch a 2-hour and 45-minute movie at 9:45 at night.
Yeah.
Not when I have a show in the morning. I've got work. On a Sunday night,
Yeah.
It was either 7 o'clock or 9:40. And I was like, oh, because that's 2 hours and 40 minutes. I'm dumb. But the timing, the only available screenings at decent times were 3D, and I can't watch a 3-hour 3D movie.
No, I don't like 3D.
I can watch a solid 90-minute 3D movie if it's got good 3D in it. Yeah. But once I get to, I just get a headache. I don't enjoy 3D very much. And I've never seen a movie other than Spy Kids 3D where the 3D was necessary.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So my question for you is, what percentage is the drop next week in North America? Do you think that this is a solid hold, a 50 to 55% hold? Or do you think that this is
I think it's
Doctor Strange 2 opened at 187 million in the US.
Yeah.
Dropped 72%, I think.
I was going to say, I feel like it'll probably drop around 60%. I think there are people who, haven't had the chance to go see this movie who really want to and want to support it. And there are going to be people out there who absolutely love this movie and that it means a lot to them. I think it's not going to be... I don't think it's going to have the best hold because I think it's too long, but I don't think it's going to be a detrimental drop.
Okay, I'm more pessimistic than you. I think it's going to have a 65% drop. I don't think it's going to be as bad as Doctor Strange 2. I think that this movie will ultimately make more money than Doctor Strange 2. Even though it didn't have as strong an opening weekend, I do think it will actually have better legs than Doctor Strange 2 because I think that I think that Doctor Strange 2 was much more split among critics and among word of mouth. Yeah. I think that a lot of people didn't like that movie at all. I just love Sam Raimi as a director, and that movie really worked for me. Yeah. I think I put that at an 8.3 if this is an 8.5. So I think that this movie long term will do better than Doctor Strange 2 did. And so but I don't think it's going to have an amazing hold next weekend because of the length. Yeah. So I think that it's going to drop. David, it is not going to have a 51% drop.
It's optimistic. I like it, but I'm going to say 60.
Well, 90 million. Has any Phase 4 movie had... here, I want to... second week drops MCU. I want to see what...
Get the cups out of the way.
Drops MCU. I want to see... is there like a list here? I want to see what the other movies in the MCU have done, because I don't think any movie has had a 50% drop in the MCU.
That's biggest. That's not MCU.
No, here. r/box office. Okay. Thor: Love and Thunder was only 67%. That's actually not that bad. Oh, Doctor Strange was only 67%. I was actually wrong.
Oh, not 72. Okay.
Yeah, I was wrong about that. The only movies with less than 51% are The Avengers, the first Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Thor, and Black Panther only had a 44.7% drop.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to guess 60.
So Shang-Chi only had a 54% drop.
Mm-hmm.
So the best in all of Phase 4 is Shang-Chi at 54%.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, no, 65 seems too high now. Now that I'm looking at these, I thought that a lot of these were in the low 70s. So I'm gonna adjust. I think I'm gonna say 60 as well. I think. Well, no, you know what? Actually, I think I might go 57.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna go 57.
Okay.
Looking at those other numbers puts a lot more context on it. Burnt Ashaman, do I think it'll hit $1 billion? Maybe. The first movie made $100 million in China, and this movie will not get a Chinese release. So
confirmed?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's tough to hit $1 billion without the Chinese market.
It's tough to hit $1 billion in the post-pandemic market at all.
Yeah.
I thought this movie was going to beat. I thought this movie was going to beat Top Gun. I thought this would be number one. I think Top Gun will be the number one earner of the year. Okay. I don't imagine anything's going to make, because Top Gun's at like 1.6 billion, right? So I don't think anything will come close to Top Gun now at this point.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. If it gets to 51, David, I would love that. I think that would be incredible. A 90 million second weekend for this would be, well, actually, when is Thanksgiving?
Next weekend?
Or no, it's the weekend after.
Okay.
Wait, is Thanksgiving next weekend or is it the weekend after? American Thanksgiving. Because that is a big question. What day is it today? It's the 14th. So
the 24th.
Thanksgiving's in 2 weeks.
Yeah. 10 days. So it's not this coming a weekend, it's the next one.
I think this weekend might be a little bit lower.
Mm-hmm.
I think this weekend might be a little bit lower because this movie is going to have an incredible third weekend. If you look at the 5-day, it's going to have a terrible third weekend if you look at the 3-day. I think this is a movie that families, Black Friday, Black Panther 2 is going to be a thing. I actually think next weekend is going to drop a little bit more than usual. And then the following weekend, Black Panther 2 is going to make money. Because this is a movie you can go to with your family.
Mm-hmm.
I think Thanksgiving weekend is going to be an incredible third weekend for this.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
I don't know. I have a feeling.
I think that factors in for sure.
There's not a lot of movies coming out, so it could have an amazing hold. I don't know. It's just going to depend.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't feel like a multiple. I don't think people are going to see this movie 5-6 times. The way they did Black Panther 1.
It's heavy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot to deal with here. I agree. I don't think it's going to do as well as the first movie did, unfortunately.
Which is fine. I think it'll probably hit $880 million globally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the flip side, Black Adam hopes hit 400. So
hopes.
I'd still rather be the MCU at this point.
Fingers crossed for Black Adam. I don't know. I don't think Black Adam was a great movie, so I don't really care. It's fine.
I love Okoye. I don't know.
That's not...
Just a random thought.
Oh,
I love Okoye. I wish her story had ended differently in this movie, but the first half of it I really loved.
I want her movie.
Yeah. I wish the lesbians had been more prominent, but I understand that they needed to have them easily be cut out of the movie for Kuwait, so... The one lesbian, little kiss moment, I was like, oh, that's really cute. That came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's because they have to hide it for the Chinese people.
Disney really loves to have the single lesbian kiss. It's like a Disney trope at this point because Lightyear had the single lesbian kiss.
Yeah.
It's always Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness had the one lesbian handhold.
Yeah.
Disney movies, there are no gay men, but goddamn, there are a lot of single lesbian moments.
Oh, it's great. I'm here for it.
Are there any gay men in the MCU? I don't think so, right?
In the MCU?
The Lucas, the designer from She-Hulk, is definitely coded as gay, but we never got like confirmation that he's gay.
Right. Like there's no like scenes. Eternals. Yes, they have a kid.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah.
I don't remember anyone's name in Eternals.
Phasmos or.
Yes, that's the only one that I can.
Why
think
can't I
of.
remember his name? Mm-hmm. It's not Phasmos. It's Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of.
And people hated that movie. Interesting. Interesting. Blue asked, do you think the DCU ever lets Kevin Smith do a movie? He would never do it. He's said very publicly he doesn't want to do a superhero movie.
Oh, okay.
He thinks they're too much work.
Okay, fair enough. You know what? The amount of research you have to do, that I understand that. If you're not already like a diehard comic book fan.
Oh, no. He's a bigger comic book fan than anyone.
But like of the
Kevin Smith has written wildly successful DC comic books.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to do it because for a number of reasons, but they're not the kind of movies that he makes, and he doesn't want to deal with the fandom.
Okay, fair enough.
He loves being a fan of DC movies, and he doesn't want to make them because then he would have to deal with the other side of it. And he's like, I would rather just make what I want to make.
Yeah, he's fine. He can do his own thing.
Kevin Smith also, and I agree with him, I don't want to make art for other people. Like, that's tough, right?
Yeah.
And so he likes to be in control. And,
yeah, that's fair. Know yourself.
Yeah, and I agree with him. Like, I wouldn't want to make one either. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be in a Star Wars movie. Like, if I was offered it, I probably would not be able to say no in the moment. But if I really, like, sit down and think about it, the idea of being in a Star Wars movie, and then I would much rather be in, like, a Disney Plus show, where the pressure is just not as high. And I could, like Andor. I would love to be in something like Andor, and not the next Star Wars film, because, like, the pressure of that is so high. And if it's not good, like, my love of that fandom is such a big part of my life. If I have a bad experience making a Star Wars movie, and it taints this thing that means so much to me, that's tough.
Yeah, 1,000%. I get that.
It's why I love when people who book Star Wars don't care about Star Wars, because they don't feel the pressure that I would feel.
Yeah. We had a long morning show this morning. Sorry about that, guys. But
Fabu Moose says, Disney tries to be LGBTQ positive while being easily able to hide their views in the international market. Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't blame them for it. You have to, if you're going to make $250 million movies, you have to be able to make money internationally. I'm not mad at you. I get it.
Yeah, you
have to be able to release your movie. It's not, Disney doesn't make the rules.
No, I know. And the thing is, like, I don't know. It's weird because I think that the world will only become a better place if things like that are allowed to be seen by people. And I guess the fact that it exists in a different version of it, that, maybe you could VPN in a different country, that does say something. But it is unfortunate that is the state of the world where they have to, hide it. But it is what it is. Black Panther 2 was fine, and
I thought it was great.
Yeah, thanks for coming to the show, guys. Thanks for sticking around.
Wow, this was... I did not think we were going to go for 3 hours today.
I did not, and I'm hungry, so...
I'm starving. What do we have to eat? If you like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave me in comments down below, because the algorithm god is hungry. We must feed her. In this episode, the algorithm goddess is...
Me, I'm hungry.
No, it's Queen Ramonda. Because, pour one out for a true MVP. I don't think we said enough good things about Angela Bassett in this, but Angela Bassett was a fucking, if she gets an Oscar nomination for supporting an actress in this movie, totally deserved.
I'm here for it. Yeah.
Totally deserved. If you want to follow us on the internet, you can. I'm at nerdynightly.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
And as always, y'all...